Anyway, yeah. So, what would you guys like to do?
Well, uh, I guess we meet downstairs in the common room of the inn that we're staying at. I assume. Let's see. Bran is probably unavailable. Is he sleeping in, or
Yeah,
is he up and gonna be a quiet observer to?
he's definitely sleeping in. He had his ear cut off yesterday, which wasn't good. His
Yeah,
body's kind of still in trauma from that. And a couple of the um, the town doesn't have an herbalist anymore, but
right.
just like some of the midwives and just people in the village who have some medical knowledge have kind of just started tending to him and
Yeah.
saying that he needs lots of rest, that sort of thing. And they bound up his head with a wad of gauze over the ear stump and everything, just sort of helping it to heal as much as it can. So yeah, he's going to be out of commission for a while. However, we will probably, uh, I can probably do just some retroactive stuff with Dustin when he gets back, and if there's anything that he wants to do before he starts his arc and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He'll probably want to do his stuff back in town and work on whatever whatever shenanigans he's got going with his shipping empire and slash smuggling empire. All right. Well, Hargus, it looks like it's just you and me today. What do you think? Do you have anything that you wanted to do around town before leaving here, or are you pretty much good to go?
Yo, I didn't develop any. How do I put it? I was sitting here thinking of if there is anything I want to do here. I didn't develop any great feelings in the positive for anyone here, to be honest.
Right, right.
And I just assumed be on my way.
Yeah, I did think I did want to speak with Siloqui actually, and I don't know if you caught this, but Bran Bran said that Siloqui had evidence of forest gnomes being involved in those ruins that she was looking at, um, and she also mentioned that some of the writing was druidic, I think, if I recall,
Oh, really?
around there. And I know
Let's
you're
talk to
interested in druids, so um,
her.
bless you. I think that was a bless you. Um, uh,
Oh, stream allergies. Sorry.
you know what they say when you sneeze. In the gnome communities, they say that the Treefather has sprinkled some pollen in your eyes. It's actually good luck to have a good
Well, it
sneeze. So
certainly has.
yeah, so
I could use a little less luck then.
yeah,
So,
so yeah, a good sneeze is good luck. That's old gnomish tradition. So um,
but you do bring up a good point. I wouldn't mind talking to her. I hadn't thought of that.
yeah,
Her indifference, I was including with all the other villagers' indifference. I still suspect there's something more to her than what she's putting forth, which was what made her so suspicious.
right, right. That's
So
quite
I
possible.
would enjoy talking to her.
Well, let's talk to her about the stuff we want to know first, and then we'll just, in passing, ask her about those disguise self potions and see what she has to say. Hopefully, she doesn't attack us and set some sort of horrible,
Well,
horrible elf dog to kill us.
I think that's the reason I became so aggressive with my questioning. Is all these people were so hedging everything they said. It seemed like or guarding it, and it wasn't just our bad guy. All of them were kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, they're all
So
rather
it seemed like they were
suspicious.
holding something back.
Yeah, they're all quite suspicious. They might have had one of those traveling fellows who walk through and they're like, don't don't talk to investigators. Don't say anything to investigators because they'll frame you for illicit potion making or something like that. One of those like scare tactic sort of people. Don't talk to.
Yeah, and you guys have noticed that like ever since Emily was brought back and all that, it's like a pall has been lifted on the village. Like everyone is so much more relieved and relaxed, and they seem to just be a lot more open with you now that she's back. It's like they were afraid that something they might say would accuse them or make them suspicious. And they're, you guys are armed adventurers and stuff. They didn't know what to expect or whatever. But now that the mystery's solved, they're all just kind of like relaxed, and you've enjoyed their company a lot more now, which is good.
Yeah.
I don't know, my
no reason to be afraid of you anymore. So
my mental image of our party is a little on the comical side. I mean, these two, a wee folk and a wee folk with this string bean character with a harp. It just, I'm sure everybody looks at us twice when we walk by.
You definitely stand out.
Jasper's very imposing. He's got that cold look in his eye.
I don't know, just put a couple of wigs on y'all, and these are my two children. Pay no mind.
I'm not shaving, Hargus. I'm not shaving. This would require a very dire situation for me to masquerade as your son. But actually, that's not a bad one to have in the back pocket. Actually, in case it could be important.
There's so many comical situations. It just lends itself to too many possible scenarios in which I would giggle.
There's old gnomish tales about back in the day when gnomes didn't want to be quite as known in the human cities, where what they do is three gnomes would sit on each other's shoulders, and they put on a large coat or cloak or something like that, and then they'd go into town and sell whatever devices or trinkets they had made, and kind of masquerade as a human that way. So
not to mention the ancient lore of samurai and the baby buggy.
I don't know that one. Which one? What's that story?
Oh,
that sounds like a very
I'll have to
interesting.
get out character for that. I don't think I can maintain that.
A samurai and a baby buggy.
Although now I can see I need to work on those stories. There's some old samurai movies, classic series of movies.
Really?
And it's Trouble in a Baby Buggy and all this stuff. It's the classic, stoic samurai, and he's got his only living relative descendant, his son, survived this massive, slaughter, by the local warlord, his ex-master, and so there's all these stories of him going around with this baby's buggy with his son in it and kicking butt, and no, they just go on and on. They're worth looking up. I'll look them up and I'll have you a better title. But oh my gosh, I mean, one of them, he's ready to kill him, right? Because it's obviously the solution when your whole family is destroyed and the only thing left is your son, and you're in for a lot of trouble, is to go ahead and put your son out of his misery. So he puts a sword by his hand, and this is a toddler. Puts a sword by his hand and a toy by his other side, and if he goes for the toy, he's too innocent, and he'll just have to put him down right there. But if he goes for the sword,
he's too dangerous.
He will learn.
So the toddler chooses the sword, I assume.
Oh yeah. Luckily for him.
Yeah. Little did he know that's every toddler's go-to. I have a cute fluffy toy over here and a dangerous cutting implement over here.
Yeah.
I'll put that one in my mouth. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Obviously,
I can vouch for that.
Obviously, the knife is meant for chewing.
Likely to kill me. That looks like fun.
Oh boy. All right, let's go see Siloqui then. We'll see what she has to say. I'm quite interested to see if this is some sort of relationship to gnomes. That'd be very interesting. That'd be the first actual sign of any gnomes around that I could hear. I mean, that's the reason I went to White Fork to begin with. I don't know if you recall, but the reason I was going through White Fork and up to Galen Falls was because I had heard that there used to be gnomes in the area. Didn't find anything, obviously, but they did talk about gnomes having once been up by Galen Falls, but I guess they aren't there anymore, so be interesting to see what Siloqui has to say about these ruins here.
Okay.
Well, let's be on our way.
All right, yeah, let's go.
All right, you guys make your way past Winifred's house. It's got like
I go to the dentist.
a rope over the kind of in the.
Oh, did he freeze up again? Oh boy!
I think he's reminiscing.
Look how cheerful he seems, though. Doesn't he seem happy about it? He's kind of that
captured him in a really good moment.
We can mosey as we go. I guess Hargus, you were saying you spoke a number of languages. Do you know how many languages do you speak?
I do, and I think at some point I can increase that. Oh, yes, you are.
Okay, that was weird.
I speak 4 languages: English, Sylvan, Dwarf, and Draconian. Because every bard should know how to commune with dragons.
That would be something else. I don't know that are there any dragon sightings in the area? Have you heard of many dragons passing through?
I think if you it's sort of like when you see a crow, then the crow can see you, and there has been those instances in my life where I've seen the silhouette of a dragon on the distance, but never up close.
That's right.
But then again, how do you know when you haven't spoken to a dragon?
Well, I imagine.
They are shapeshifters,
Are
At least the good one, the really, really spiffy ones are shapeshifters.
I guess I always assumed that was more like, fairy tale sort of thing. Not sure. I didn't. I never actually met someone who could shapeshift.
My bad.
Yeah, I never met someone who could shapeshift before, I guess.
How do you know?
It's a good point. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of things here that have, I guess, expanded my experience about what is possible in the world. Never thought I'd be visiting an alternative plane of shadow, for instance, full of living death, as it were. Kind of an ongoing suffering of the soul sort of situation.
I did not expect to encounter a plane of shadow. Whatever kind of universe that was, actually...
It wasn't good.
I still am pondering that. I need to research.
Yeah.
I need to go someplace where they have some real books and a real library where we can find out where on earth we were, because I almost think it was a pocket dimension of some creation. It reminds me of old stories of evil realms that were pulled into the netherworld to only appear at certain times of year, rather than straight out afterlife. Because if that's the afterlife, I'm just going to not do it.
Just live forever? Well,
is that an option?
I don't know. We gnomes are a bit longer lived than you folk. You're too big, really. It's not your fault. You're just too big. You can't expect to last very long being as large as you are. Your poor little hearts, they must be working way too hard just to keep you going. I don't know I don't know how you stand up without passing out, to be honest. But yeah, I was always taught that the Treefather would gather all the gnomes in the Great Forest afterwards. That's what we were always taught. So, and he seemed to suggest that Ben Kotha would sort of escort the spirit of people who had passed through her realm to their ultimate destination. So maybe that's her job, is sort of a kind of the doorman for the afterlife, as it were. Sort of like, hey, welcome to the afterlife. Let me show you to your suite, sort of a thing.
I know enough songs to know that there's more out there than what we are limited to in our young lands.
Quite true.
There's enough stories out there to suggest that there's many gods, an infinite number of gods, an infinite number of afterlives.
That's extremely complicated.
But I'll stick with what I know for now.
Well, Ben Cotha, right? You and Ben Cotha are like, you know.
I was at a school, as my master taught me, that the bards serve all the gods, and I pay as I will from now on. I'll pay Benkotha homage just as I pay all our pantheon of gods homage.
Sure.
I don't know if I said it. Sorry, my kids, out of character, my kids are running through the room like every 5 minutes here. But
little bastards.
I totally lost my train of thought. It says that
throw some dice at
my master. My master, I was of a school of bardic lore where a bardic schooling where the bard served all the gods. Although we had our patrons, we were actually a direct servant to none, but servant to all.
Your particular bardic school, I think you said it was more of a military sort of based academy, right? You're sort of focused on warfare and the like.
Well, I'm trying to remember what my actual bardic school is right now.
So am I. I was trying to remember as well. I think
Valor,
Valor, right? Yeah,
bardic
sort of a
school of Valor.
Right. Well,
yes.
The gnomish captain of the guard who actually found me when I was young. He stayed friends with the family, kept in touch. But he's been in the military his entire life. He always said that there were no atheists on the battle tank. And so I guess if you're from a whole college of bards where they're focused on war, then that would go doubly for you. You know, there's no atheists in the bardic school of Valor, I guess, right?
No, I don't know if that's accurate to say that bards are focused on war. The reality is in many of the hill tribes, many of our noble houses, the bards are seen as the only source of immortality for heroes and men.
With stories.
And they should bear witness. They should bear witness to those doings of men and heroes. And so, and also a big part of, as long as we're walking, I'll pull out a pipe. I won't rearrange them, but I'll pull out the pipes and I'll show you how when you configure it this way, it's for celebration, but when you configure it this way, it's for war in the dirge, and how bards were known for used for signaling and muster on a battlefield, and that is the origin of my learning, along with this drum, which has set many a soldier to travel and sent many messages across the battlefield where no voice could carry.
Interesting.
And that's solid.
Right. Well, I fully expect to hear.
I'll pull this crusty old drum out that it's obviously has a new skin on it, and same thing with the pipes. The pipes are ancient, made out of some odd horn material, and the bag looks new. Looks like goat. So
sprinkle snow.
We don't kill the goat.
Well, I look forward to hearing the epic poem or song that you comprise about our recent adventures here. My parents would love to hear about that. If I could send them a song composed by a bard, I know that they would be quite thrilled to hear. Tell them it's being sung in the pubs down in Hardale. They'd get quite a kick out of that.
'Tis almost finished, unless you want to hear new words to an old song, which is most bardic songs. If you want to know the truth of it,
That does works for me. Works for me. But yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. So looking forward to hearing that. And I guess we'll just keep kind of chattering until we get out to the ruins.
I'm working with that honestly, but I left my ledger at work. So.
So yeah, you pass Winifred's house. It's got kind of a rope strung in front of it, kind of like a police tape or whatever, as they're making an investigation, finishing up pretty much. So you pass that, and you go through the peaceful woods. Pretty chilly, still as early winter setting in. But you hear some birds and stuff, some late, early winter birds. Eventually, the circle of stones comes into view, and you see Siloqui kind of hunched over a stone, and she's just writing very, very focused on her book. And as you guys walk into the circle, Hargus, you step on a stick and it snaps, and she looks back, and it's not Siloqui. It's a human woman with kind of ratty brown hair, acne all over her face, very homely looking. And she immediately just hunches back over her book, and you see her kind of make some hand gestures with her hand, and then she looks back up at you guys, and it's Siloqui again. And she says, "Oh, I am so sorry. I did not see you. I didn't hear you guys coming."
Were we both able to witness
hello?
that little trans?
Yeah, make a perception check just to see how quickly she was able to react.
I think she's passing.
I was getting caught up in my own bardic story, so
Yeah,
I didn't notice much.
Yeah. No, I got a 9, so so I think her cover holds.
Okay, so you did see her
she's 5 foot elf.
So you did see her kind of look back, surprised, but then she looked away real quick, and so you weren't.
Right.
It was kind of suspicious what she did, but we'll say you didn't see it fully. Anyway, but she's just like, "Oh, how goes the investigation?"
Good. Managed to get Emily back to her mother. Maybe a little worse for wear, maybe a little better. I don't know. I guess we'll see what the long-term effects of hag curses are. But yeah, she's back with her parents, and hopefully, between Davis the wizard and other folks, she'll be not too negatively affected by it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Good. I'm glad. And you can kind of tell that she's still really embarrassed and
You okay? He seems a bit flustered.
She's trying to maintain her composure basically, and so she's like, good. Hey, your dwarf friend actually mentioned that you're an actual forest gnome, right?
I am, yes. Or at least that's what I've been told.
Well, good. I didn't know that there were that many forest gnomes left. I mean, plenty of rock gnomes and tinker gnomes and that sort of thing. But I was wondering if you would mind. I've made a little bit of progress since over the past couple days, but it's just so slow going. I have this gnomish dictionary here, but a lot of these words aren't in it,
right.
And so maybe if you could just read it to me, then that would probably help me out a bit. I'm almost finished here, and I think this might be the last piece if you were able to read it for me.
I'm good with modern gnomish. I've got just a little tiny bit of ancient gnomish, but yeah, let me give it a look here, and I'll go take a look at the carvings and such and see what's there.
Okay. You look over the carvings, and definitely old gnomish, but you can make out most of it. The very ending of it is kind of cracked off. Like you see where there's just kind of a fault in the stone where it just kind of cracked off at a clean angle, and there's just kind of some gravel around that side of the rock. But in your player's channel, it is what is written.
Okay.
So if you want to read that.
All right, let me sort it out.
And she's like got her book ready, like with her quill.
I don't know if you talked with. Didn't Bran tell us there was something about druidic information here?
Yes, I believe that they were. I think that these ruins were made by gnomish moon druids of the Circle of the Moon. There's been a couple of crescent moon markings, and so that's what I'm guessing. I haven't been able to get most of it yet, but that's what I'm guessing. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Hargus, did you have a question that you wanted to ask you?
Well, out of character, first off, while you're talking to her, Hargus would be studying her for, truth or false, the skill.
Right. Yeah, make an insight check.
And I rolled a 1. This woman is solid.
Okay.
And one fine elf, I might add.
You kind of look her over, and I mean,
I am looking her over because that's all that's on my mind. Apparently,
she is very, very beautiful, and you try to kind of read her motions a little bit, and you kind of get lost in her elven beauty. Like, there's not that many full-blood elves around here. You've heard of.
I know. I'm going to start taking notes on her beauty because that's how enamored I am with my one.
She's very charming.
Dazzled.
And you kind of forget what you were scrutinizing her about.
I said you were a beautiful elf. Would you hold it against me?
Just lost in those eyes.
Sorry, I really apologize now.
Never apologize for singing.
You're the bard. That makes sense.
I think I've got most of this here. There's a couple bits that seem to have been.
What does it say?
They've been eroded or broken off, so I don't quite have everything. But under the moon we dance and keep vigil. Nature, the trees, our Father, praise him. The voices of the beasts soothe us to sleep. The rocks they play the drum of our hearts. The leaves they flutter as, and I can't make out the next part, and with the light in between, the sunbeams can, and we lose more, be here and in the other two corners.
And she kind of keeps looking expectantly, and she's... Oh, and by the way, as you're translating this, it's very... It rhymes in Old Gnomish,
right.
Like it's much more poetic in Old Gnomish, and that's like your best attempt at translating and stuff. But you reach the end, and she's still kind of expectantly getting like ready to write, and she's like, "Yes, what's the last part?"
That's where it ends. There might have been more in here right after this part. You can see where it's sort of broken off, like maybe there was something here that was broken away.
And you like kind of point at like which words are which, and like which is the last line. She's like, "Oh. Dang it. That was so close to what I needed to know."
What is it?
I do have a question for her. When I get a chance.
Go ahead.
I don't think we're pretending anything we discovered or concealing it. And I said, do you have any knowledge of the portal or perhaps any lore about it in this area?
She seems kind of distracted, and she's like, "Portal? What portal?"
I'll go ahead and recount what we did. We traced the girl down and discovered her. She'd been abducted, right? And what we found was the villain had carried her through a portal in the cave, just inside the cave, as a matter of fact, that was well concealed by magical means. It took us to another plane or another realm, and where we had our adventure and rescued the girl. We believe the villain had been disguised here in the village for many years as as the herbalist, but in reality, she was a hag. And that's pretty much the extent of it.
She's just like, I don't know much about portals. Planar travel and conjuration isn't my area of expertise, I'm afraid. And then she turns back to Jasper, just intent on this, and she's just like, there was a piece of knowledge that I needed, and unfortunately, without the last part of this sort of, and I don't know how much you know about gnomish poetry or whatever. I've heard of this, and the rest of the writings here kind of conform to it, but everything is sort of summarized at the end, and it didn't seem like it got down to it. There's a couple other. Well, never mind what the rest was about.
Why are you so interested in a gnomish ritual?
She's like, well, it's not so much the ritual itself. I mean, once your dwarf friend told me that it was gnomish, I took a few of these books out and I learned about its structure, and the rest of it seemed to follow that. But it appears that the conclusion, which is gnomes, they tend to put the most important thing at the end, which makes it very unfortunate if it seems to be broken like this. And she kind of sifts through the gravel and she's like, there's no way that any of the markings can be salvaged from this. She kind of just is just scratching her head and just looking intently at the writing, and she compares like her notes with what you said, and you're like, yeah, that's correct, that sort of thing. And she just kind of sits down on one of the stones and is just poring over this. You, however, Jasper, make an investigation check with advantage.
Investigation, I think that'll be...
I'm sorry, I think I missed something.
15 total for investigation.
15. Okay, you, as you read that poem and just the subtleties in the gnomish language and stuff that can't really be translated, with the way that it talked about the other two corners.
Right. Yeah, I was going to look at that.
You you look around at the other markings on it, the central stone and the center of the stones and everything. You just kind of look at it, and you're thinking two corners, and there's this picture of a triangle on one of the stones, and one of the corners has a star on it, and it suddenly clicks in your mind.
Hold on. I'm watching you now because she's triggered me, because this is obviously a ritual of some sort, and she seems too greedy for a researcher. Do I need to roll another discernment?
Go ahead and make.
I rolled really badly.
Go ahead and make one more insight check. Now that you've like talked to her and that sort of thing, go ahead and make one more insight check.
Trying.
Anyway, Jasper, you realize.
Oh my gosh! I am paying for last session.
Another one.
That is 2 1.
Okay,
Another one. Got it together. I tell you what, I just can't stop listening to her.
Yeah,
go on
with what you were saying. No more
laugh.
tips for you, Hargus. You're just,
It's
you
don't ears
respect her at all. She just seems.
Her ears move when she talks.
Anyway, Jasper, it clicks to you that what that inscription was saying, and you kind of look through her notes a little bit too, of what she's already translated. Apparently, this circle of stones is one of 3, and
I'll be right back. Sorry.
That's okay. It's probably one of 3, and you point this out to Siloqui and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, that would make sense what I've written earlier." And anyway, through a bunch of notes and stuff, you realize that the Druids made 3 locations like this. 3, special moon shrines, and or at least this one's a moon shrine, but 3 shrines, and in the center of those 3 is probably the forest gnome civilization.
Oh,
like they just, gnomes love geometric shapes,
right.
And that sort of thing, and this probably, if you could find the other 2 locations, the other 2 shrines that this druid circle made, you could triangulate the area that the gnomes live in.
So like cross into a center point, the three of them.
Yeah, the center point between the three, wherever those
Right.
might be, you know, and you have no idea like how far away they might be. Even if they're even in the Hardale kingdom or whatever, you'd need like, you know, a reliable map and everything like that. But something about the like that's just how like gnomes, forest gnomes, and rock gnomes alike just love like shapes and lines and precision and that sort of thing. And so you're pretty confident that that is one of the purposes of this shrine, is to kind of give other gnomes a
direction,
you know, an anchor point to kind of find the civilization and stuff.
Well, this is pretty amazing. That's the first way. So wow, this is great. This might be a way to find my people. That's amazing. What are you looking for here, if not for forest gnomes? Then you said you weren't looking for forest gnomes, but
she's like, I've just been looking at ruins for ancient knowledge. I feel like a lot of people take the ancient stuff for granted, especially when it comes to magic. You know, people invent new spells that kind of make old spells obsolete, that sort of thing. But there's a lot of magic that the ancients have that, you know, was forgotten. And so, yeah, I had no idea that this was gnomish when I first studied it. I wish that I could translate some of this druidic here, but then again, it may just be symbolic or just sort of apocryphal. Like it doesn't really. I think that this gnomish inscription was what was most important, and I'm just what a shame that it had to crumble right there because I was so close. But
yeah. Oh boy, that is.
Oh well.
And this is the only.
If you mentioned that there might be two more, so I guess I'd best start looking for the others, and maybe they have the same inscription, and hopefully that part of it is not broken off. So I guess that's my next step.
This is the first structure like this that you've come across. Then it's kind of unique in your experience, or.
Yeah, in this case, yes. I mean, I've seen monoliths with writing on them, that sort of thing. I've been in several places in Hardale Kingdom, but I heard about this one just from the villagers here, and it seems to be definitely. I've learned a few things from it, so that's. It's not a complete waste. And if what you say is true about there being other ones, then, you know, that's just one more step in the journey, I guess. But yes, definitely not what I expected. So I'm glad that our paths crossed. It would have taken me another week probably to decipher all that. There's so much old gnomish grammar and vocabulary that is completely obsolete, apparently. Or poetic, like you mentioned. So
I've got actually a book from my parents, a book of prayers, that sort of thing. You know, to the Treefather. So you know, it's the same kind of thing. If you wanted some of those, and he'll pull out his little, you know, kind of tattered prayer book that his parents had on him. That's got, you know, the little prayers for, you know, prayer for guidance, prayer for.
All to the Treefather.
Yeah. Just kind of.
She's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind actually borrowing that if you wouldn't mind.
You know, if you could
kind of takes
jot it over, yeah. I don't like to be apart from it, but yeah.
She's like, no, don't worry about that. I'll just flip through and see if any of it's used to me. And she's like very careful as she flips through and stuff. She kind of reads them. Doesn't take her long. She's a really fast reader and stuff, and she reads through all of them. She's like, this could be useful as well. I think I might need to learn a little bit more about Treefather and just nature worship in general, because if the Druids thought this specific place was sacred as well, and she kind of looks up into the sky and she's like, I'll probably best stay here until the full moon as well, just in case there's some sort of connection with the circle of the moon that makes letters appear under a full moon or under a crescent moon or something. I see a couple crescent moons there, so I should probably stay here for another. Well, now that I know that this is what caused it, I guess I should stay here for the rest of the month. I haven't seen anything. I haven't been here late. And she just kind of like rambles for a little bit without
Just sort of
realizing what she's saying and stuff.
check it
Just
every
like,
night under the moon.
I haven't been here late, so maybe I should start coming here at night instead of during the day. And anyway, yeah, that's good to know as well. Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't ask your names. What was your names? Perhaps you already told me the other day, but
I'm Jasper, and this is my friend Hargus here.
Hargus. Me fine else last.
She's like, a pleasure to meet both of you.
Hargus is like, have you seen my loot? This is my loot.
For the
guns out. And she says, she's like, well, if I'm going to be here later, I guess I'd better go take a nap and sleep early tonight.
Did you copy the Druidic down into your notebook? Did you copy that into your notes as well?
Yes, I copied all the markings that I could. Unless there's a druid around, right. It's a very closely guarded language from what I know. But did you want to see?
Yeah, I figured if I jot down what you've got there, and if I find any druids in our travels, it might be, they might be willing to.
Could I copy that? Copy that, or copy it myself?
Well, if you're going to bed, are you going back to town?
She's like, yeah, I can help you with that real quick. And she flips to that page and she's like, yes, this Druidic is written here and here. And she kind of points to all the different places and she's like numbered it very carefully on the page and very precisely and stuff. And so she's like, so feel free to copy that down.
Yeah.
I'll just be packing up here. And she kind of yawns. And those of you, let's see, both of you make... Actually, no, Hargus, make a history check.
Oh, I did good that time. 17, and I think I get 2 to that, so 19.
Okay. You've heard about elves, and one thing about elves that just isn't sticking. They don't sleep. They meditate for about 4 hours every night. In common, the term is trance, but it's like a form of communing with their past lives and that sort of thing. So it's very odd that she's talking about sleeping and she's like yawning kind of tiredly. It's very un-elf like of her. And so you just kind of notice that in your mind and it's kind of odd to you. And she just kind of is packing up her gear and stuff while you're copying down the Druidic. And you can go ahead and mark in your inventory or whatever, like Druidic manuscript or something like that.
Hargus, you wanted to learn Druidic, didn't you? Or you had some familiarity, or you had some interest in the Druids, didn't you?
My interest is it's complicated. I have fragments of story that make me suspect there was an older lore to the Druids, and the Druids are so tight-lipped about it that it's hard to say. But I would say the Druids, as we know them today, were much different in our forefathers' times.
Well,
and it's fascinating. I've heard stories of ancient structures that nobody knows the history of, just abandoned and inaccessible.
Right.
As in, you can't, like, I think the description in the one tattered song I have is of a lone tower standing in the wilderness with no door and no access.
Sounds rather ominous, doesn't it?
With an air of magic about it, perhaps. But everything has an air of magic when you're writing.
Well, I mean, this place ended up being fairly magical, so it's not surprising, perhaps. Maybe the other Druid locations like this are also dealing with magical things. I don't know. It's odd that gnomes and druids are hanging out together, apparently, or were hanging out together at some point. It's kind of interesting.
Well, it is of nature. I mean,
Right, it's true.
if you people are as embracive of nature as you say, then that would go hand in hand with a druid culture.
That's
Perhaps they did have close bonds at one time, or some related history.
right. Huh. I'll just do one last kind of scope of the whole ruins in general, just to see if there's any sort of indication where, like if it's angled in a way that might suggest a path toward the other ones, Not necessarily a distance or direction, but maybe just a, if it's a triangle, maybe I can get an idea of.
Yeah, make an investigation check.
Is there any sort of foundations or anything around?
19 investigation.
19.
Rolled a 19 because
okay.
I got +0, so.
No.
Finally.
From what you can tell, Jasper, it doesn't quite point in a specific direction, but just the general layout of the ruins makes a nice sort of kind of a nice rounded side toward the west, and makes you think of kind of like if you were to get a pie and cut it into thirds. Like the rounded side would be facing the ocean to the west, and so you're thinking like you can't figure out a specific direction, but this kind of makes you think that if it were indicating a direction, it would be somewhere that's not to the west.
Right.
So it could be kind of anywhere, it could be northeast, southeast, or just east. Maybe any of the three, because there still are two other ruins. But at least you can rest assured that there's not like one on an island or something out to sea. These are all in this, on this continent is what you can kind of guess. So.
All right, great.
And then what did you say, Hargus? You wanted to know? Oh, foundations.
Oh,
No, it doesn't look like these were buildings. They're very Stonehenge-like. It looks like they were just standing stones that were purposefully put here. It didn't look like they were parts of buildings or anything like that. Very eroded, very old, from rain and stuff like that. But yeah, you don't see any like evidences of foundations or dwellings or anything.
Well, I'm just going to walk Winderson around the, you know what Winderson is?
Windershins?
Counterclockwise.
Windershins?
Yeah.
Clockwise around, because if it's Stonehenge-like, there may be more to these ruins than just what we see right here.
Sure.
So I'm just going to kick through the weeds and kind of observe. Because she said something that has inspired me, but I don't want to share it in front of her. I'll talk to Jasper about it in a bit after she's gone to take a nap.
So you're just looking for
fascinating lady.
So basically, you're just looking for anything else out of the ordinary.
Yeah, raised humps in the dirt. Anything to give away that there'd be further circles. Because usually, there's the inner circles and then radiating.
Yeah. Okay. Make an investigation check yourself. Let's see.
I wouldn't be doing this, except this, to me, in my mind, is up his alley.
Yeah, for sure.
The Irish. 18. I did pretty good. So it'd be a 19. I have a +1 for that.
Okay, 19. 19 as well. So every once in a while, you'll see these little, like you found a few stones here and there that look like they're specifically placed. They're very round stones, almost like river stones, like they're taken from a river and brought here. They don't look like, rough stones like the rest of them. And they're kind of buried under a layer of dirt. You kind of push it away, and it looks like the stones might have made like a ring around the circles at some point. And a lot of the stones are missing. Like you only find a few, but with that high of a roll, you can definitely see some kind of pattern there. And just looking at those stones and the runes that are like, there's very faint runes on them, and they kind of look like the arcane symbol for illusion magic. You know, your specific type of magic isn't really arcane equation based like a wizard, but you know, you've studied it and you've seen it, and so these look like, it looks like the specialty of the druids here, which makes sense since they were forest gnomes, was illusion magic. So maybe these stones once aided with illusion magic. You know, maybe there's some sort of aura that they produce that improves illusion magic. You're not quite sure.
Well, as soon as me and Jasper are together, I'll share that with him.
Is there anything else you wanted to say to Siloqui, or you just kind of give her notebook back and say goodbye? Or
I'm going to ask her if she wants to stay, because I'm so oblivious. I'm just going to ask her if she wants some company tonight. We'll be glad to set watch with her.
She's like, no, that's fine, thank you. But I think I'm fine. There's not, well, I mean, depending on if your portal has some sort of monsters that come out of it, that's one thing. But otherwise, this place is fairly safe. I think that I'll be okay. But thank you. That's very nice of you.
Oh, well, I hope you had a safe evening.
Thank you.
If you ever find anything out, please send word to us at the Valiant Allies Guild in Hardale. You mentioned that you had gone to Hardale, or maybe our base.
She's like, yeah, I studied in Hardale. I'm aware of the Valiant Allies. I think I saw like a flyer or something about them, and so I should, yeah, I'll remember that. Yeah. And she writes down your names, and she's like, "Hey, now I won't forget." Yeah, if I find anything else out about the gnomes, especially, does that seem to be what you're most interested in? Is the
very much so? Yes.
Yeah, and if I find the other location, then I'll definitely let you know. And same with you. I'm not sure, you know, how you'll get a hold of me per se, but if our paths ever cross again and you happen to know where those are, I'd love to know where they are as well. So
I'm going to be keeping a very active eye open, so you know, whenever you can, just shoot me a correspondence with at the Valiant Allies, and you know, I'll keep you posted on anything I find as well, and hopefully together we can solve this little mystery.
I hope so. She kind of just looks just really sadly over at that broken rock, and just has the look of someone who's just so close and just barely missed what they had been working hard to find out. So she's like, anyway, thanks anyway. You've saved me a lot of time and set me on the right path. So
I think we'll
best of luck to both of us, I guess.
I think we'll spend another
Treefather guide us.
May the Treefather guide your steps as well. I think we're going to spend another minute or two looking around here, just because I haven't seen a place of my people's establishment before, so I just think I'll just take a moment.
She's like, I hope our paths cross again, Jasper and Hargus. And she kind of hoists up a backpack full of scrolls and books and stuff, and just starts hiking back towards the village.
I'll just watch you for a while and make sure you're safe.
She kind of looks
back on my beard.
Like kind of nods a little and is a little creeped out, and just kind of walks away, makes sure, just kind of looks back a couple more times, and just kind of hurriedly goes back to the village.
I'll be sure she's good and gone while I pull on my mustache. It'll be reversed so it sticks out just right.
Jasper's going to go back and look at the broken off portion just one more time. He's really good at like jigsaw puzzles and putting stuff back together. And when he's repairing things, like sometimes he'll put a little bit of his personal brand of snot glue that just binds stuff together like really well. It's like it was never broken. It just binds it together so perfectly after he's applied this stuff on there. So he's gonna go and like grab all the little bits he can and see if he can assemble it into the final bit of it, just in case, just to make sure he's not leaving any stone unturned, so to speak. So.
Okay.
A couple of things.
Let's see. This would be what kind of check would this be? Maybe a dexterity investigation, maybe? Or no, this would probably just be straight up investigation.
Okay.
It's more of an intelligence thing, like identifying the pieces and everything. The DC is going to be super high, but definitely go ahead and give it a shot.
Well, and once it all goes together, it might be a perfectly assembled, worn-off blank slate, too. So
Yes.
He's just got to make sure he's not leaving anything right there in the open. All right, here we go. 19.
19.
Plus nothing,
oh.
but 19.
Okay.
So.
You spend several minutes sorting through the handful of gravel. It definitely looks like something just maybe wore it away, and then it snapped off and fell and broke and crumbled, and years of erosion later, kind of just crumbled up more. And you find a couple of pieces that fit together, but it looks like it would take a couple of days of really careful work to figure everything out. And so you get a couple of pieces together. You see some edges of some letters on them, but this looks like definitely a very time-consuming task. Doable, but very time-consuming.
Is it the kind of thing that he could pack up and take with him? I mean, if all the pieces are there, is it?
Yeah, if you wanted to. You're not sure if all the pieces are there.
Yeah, you'll take whatever you can find.
You're not sure if all of the you're not sure if all of those rocks belong to that piece, that sort of thing. But yeah, you can definitely put them in like a pouch and take them with you.
He'll take that with, and that'll be it.
Am I able to save anything out of my backpack?
What's that? Oh,
what did you say?
That's right.
Well, I had several things in my backpack, and I'm just wondering if I was able to save any of it, or is it a complete scrub? In which case, I'll start trying to replace it.
I'm going to say that like half of your mundane equipment was just torn to shreds. Like the backpack itself is completely shredded up. It still kind of works. Like you can still fit stuff in like half the pockets, which is what you've been doing.
Well, I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with that. You froze up there for a minute. I'm fine with that. I'm just trying to decide what I can and can't do in character. I'll go ahead and share with Jasper what I did discover and pointed out to him, and that you could probably get a really good image just by pouring water on these rocks. And I do have a book if you would like to do rubbings.
Yeah, no, I think due diligence. Let's spend a little bit of time, make sure we're not missing anything, and if anything else comes up later, we'll have that all at our disposal.
I'll share whatever insight I have. Yeah. And did you think it was odd she was going to take a nap?
I mean, I imagine she's working quite late all the time, that sort of thing. So she probably...
She seemed like a diligent hard worker to me.
Yeah, she probably just, studies her notes all night or something, and then gets up early to come out here and work. And so, yeah, probably welcomes the opportunity for, a midday nap.
Do you want to do some secret camping and watch her?
Not really, no. Why?
Just to see what happens. Because this seems like some sort of ritual spell.
I don't think it seems like a spell.
And it's either a protection... Well, and I'll go ahead showing these rocks I found. let's walk around and look at these rocks. This is part of this is part of arcane language for concealment and illusion.
Right, right.
Is what it looks like to me, and I'll
Yeah,
just pour the water on it for him.
yeah.
And this could be a larger concealment spell or ritual concealment spell, like say you were trying to hide a structure or a town or
Right,
a
right.
village or whatever.
Or probably this structure here, I would imagine.
And, what better power source than to tie it to the moon?
Right, right. You think it might still be operating then? You think it might still be in effect?
Oh, I don't know. I thought I'd play my harp and infuse it with whatever arcana power I have and see if we tweak anything. Sometimes that'll kind of inspire us to find something or notice something.
Sure, sure.
Maybe a distortion in the air.
All right, yeah.
I can affect illusion a little bit.
If you're thinking that might yield something by moonlight, then yeah, I'm up for giving it a shot for the evening. We can come back here and.
As long as we're out in nature, I'll play the pipes. That'll really get people steered up.
There you go.
And that's what I do.
All right. So sure.
I'm going to drop walk Wittershins and play the pipes.
All right.
Loud.
So we'll spend the rest of the day making sure
for nature and magic,
Yeah.
if there is any.
Yeah, well, I don't mind spending the rest of the day here, kind of gathering in, making sure we didn't miss anything, and then we'll see if night reveals anything of interest, and after that, then I guess we can leave and get back. We do have to get back to Hardale with our successful report here. So, but no, I'm absolutely up for hanging out for an evening and just seeing if anything of interest pops up. I think she'll tell us if it takes a specific, like she said, full moon or something like that, or crescent moon or something.
Well, in all honesty, I'm feeling sneaky. And I think it would be more fun to watch her out of concealment and let her do what she's doing without her being aware that we're watching.
Oh, so not playing the pipes as you walk around in circles then, because that would not be sneaky.
This is the middle of the day. I'll do that in the middle of the day and just see what
happens. Nighttime
happens.
Plan. Gotcha.
No,
I guess we could sneak
that is not part of cover and concealment, my friend.
All right, I guess we could try that. I mean, she seemed pretty upfront with her information and her plans and everything. She didn't seem like she was sneaking around. She seemed pretty, right?
No, but this whole situation has made me so paranoid. Ever since I met you, everything that we've been involved in has made me paranoid. All we need is like a mystery van, and we would all be detectives. But,
you need to eat more crickets. I think that's a sign of a protein deficiency. You're just suspicious of everyone. Irritable.
No
protein.
This whole investigation has made me very paranoid. Even her and her suspect reactions.
All right.
But she's a fine woman, and obviously on the up and up. But it wouldn't hurt at all to discover things for ourselves, because it seems like she's pretty tight-lipped about her archaeological finds. Unlike most people that are into ancient ruins, she seems awfully tight-lipped about what she wants and what she's found.
All right, yeah, I'm sure we could come back and all right. We'll spend I guess a couple more hours here making sure we didn't miss anything, and then go back to. Yeah. You want to go back and maybe see Emily or visit Vegas or something? I guess we could see how she's doing.
Do that.
Okay, yeah. So after we gather up everything, I think Jasper will get one of the more interesting rounded stones with the rune on it and just kind of take that with him as a souvenir. Just sort of a nice little keepsake of that. And
I am going to go through a few
rune stone in your inventory.
Yeah. I am going to go through the pipes and see if I can get anything to resonate.
Well, he's walking Wittershins and and piping. He'll look for one with the clearest runic symbol, and maybe see if there's one that matches his family name, the combined rune, anything close to that. Any one for wood or anything like that just like get the nicest one he can find, and have a nice little rune stone. What do you call that tune there, Hargus? That's really loud. Do you have a name for that one?
Oh, it's Rabbit in the Dill.
It's really just carries. It's impressive. I mean, it's just.
I think it's the structure of the valley. Actually,
it's like coming back in.
It's a natural arcade.
Right. I feel like you're right here, right next to me, the whole time. It's really.
Oh, you're too kind.
No, it's great.
You just won the heart and won the spirit.
So yeah, after that, any magical apparitions appear during his piping as he walks around?
No, but you scare the birds away for sure. As they fly away.
Well, I like doing that too. It gives me pleasure, so that's fine. I wouldn't know if they were singing along or not, so I'll just say they were singing along.
I'm pretty sure I heard a couple, yeah. As
I'm sure at this point all I see is your lips moving. So
as Hargus finishes his piping, Jasper will just sit there and feed the last couple crickets to Bruce the bat in his vest there.
Bruce, that's what his name was. That's right. Okay. Yeah, you've noticed that.
Sure, that's really hard on the bat.
Bruce is like he's got kind of a darker shade to his fur ever since he got back from the Shadow Realm, which is kind of interesting. But he's just as happy and kind of tame from your so he happily eats the crickets.
He's a good little fella.
It's like a creepier version of a rat pet.
Yeah, I imagine he's got one of those fox-faced ones, one of those fox-faced kind of bats. I love those things. Those things are so cool.
Well, weren't they vampire bats? They were vampire bats.
They definitely were hungry bats. Yeah, he might be an ugly vampire bat.
He's got a nasty snub nose.
A nose bloodsucker.
Are vampire bats the only ones that drink blood?
I'm not sure.
Most of them are
bats actually don't look too bad. Like as long as they've got like
most bug eaters are pretty ugly anyway. The fox-faced bats are generally fruit bats.
Yeah,
and they're about the size of a house bat.
He's definitely not a fruit bat or a flying fox.
Okay, so he's
like
a super nasty vampire bat.
For the type of bat that he is, he's
no. Jasper loves him,
but
Jasper loves him just as much.
He works with what he's got, is what you're saying.
Like you don't want to like show him off to girl gnomes that you want to date.
That's
unless they're into little. Actually, maybe all gnomes are into small animals, so maybe it's fine for you.
Third date kind of introduction, maybe.
But yeah, like Hargus and Branbrek wouldn't want to borrow to impress their date and that sort of thing. He's still he's got the
no, Jasper definitely wants to show him off to all of his friends and potential dates. I just was curious what kind of bat they'd be looking at when they saw him. I'm pretty sure Jasper's plan will remain unchanged.
It'll be easy to feed. Y'all eat the same thing.
Yeah, they were all pretty bitey bats, but he was a younger one, and so you were able to tame him and stuff.
I'm happy with a super nasty cave bloodsucker bat that Jasper just thinks is adorable too. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, there is a larger bat. They still have the pushed-in face, but they're more of a. They have one that's sort of more has an elongated nose and more fur on its face and stuff.
No.
I'll look it up
This
for
works.
you.
This works. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at. Yeah, there's some of these when when their mouth is closed, they look okay. If they open their mouth, they're kind of hideous. But like, yeah,
No,
I can
it's not
see
the way
what
you want to
Jasper
describe a
would.
date.
They're all pretty bad.
Oh, in fact, some of these, there's a picture on Google Images of a bat eating a cricket. So
Oh, yeah.
now I know exactly what
Good.
he looks
Oh
like.
yeah. I know my
So,
bats.
yeah,
Glad you know what that looks like.
They get along
yeah.
just
So
fine.
good old little Bruce.
Um, the giant vampire bats are pretty
Okay.
wild. Whoa.
Yeah.
Going down a rabbit
Okay,
hole.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, you play the pipes for a while. You look around. That's basically all that you find for now in these Druins. And you eventually make your way back to town. Anything else you want to do for the day?
Yeah. Let's check on Emily and Davis. We'll see if I mean she's got like a weird cursed arm thing. So I guess I still am a bit concerned. I don't want to just leave her here and have that get worse and Emily to turn in to some sort of vine terror that's going to assault the town. So maybe we should just check in on her and see how she's doing.
Okay. Yeah, you check in on her and on Catherine and you like knock on Catherine's door, or I assume that's where you look for her, right? Yeah. You knock on her door, and Catherine is delighted to see you guys, and she's like, "Oh, adventures! I'm so glad that you came. What with everything happening last night, I forgot to give you a reward for helping us out. Please come in. Emily, your rescuers are here." And Emily comes in and is just like, "Hey," and kind of gives you a hug on the leg, Hargus, and then gives you an actual hug, Jasper, because she's
a little bit taller,
bigger than you and stuff. Yeah, and she's just like, "Hi," and she still has the vines kind of in her arm and everything, and she's just kind of swinging the vines around a little bit. And she's just like,
with the vines as well.
Are you guys gonna live here now?"
Oh no.
Oh, nah. We're just hanging around for a few days to see that everything's okay, and then we'll probably be heading our way.
Oh,
Once there's
okay.
recovery.
I think we'll be coming back to visit now and then, though, just to, see how you're doing and make sure you're having fun here.
Good. Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, we're Mom says that we're gonna be going to I can't remember. It's one of the cities, so we can get my arm looked at, but it doesn't hurt anymore. It stopped hurting once that dwarf man cut off the vines and cut it off from the wall. So that's good. It doesn't hurt anymore.
Catherine,
and I feel a lot better.
It's very good. Very good to hear.
Let me get your freak on.
And you got some pretty cool little whip powers there. We just want to make sure that it stays a friendly whip that does what you want it to do, as opposed to anything else. Catherine, you're going to be heading off to another.
This is new territory for talking to children, isn't it?
Catherine comes back from her bedroom, and she has like an object, like kind of big flat object wrapped in cloth, and she's like, I would like you guys to have this. My husband used it in the Third War, and it didn't save him, but perhaps it would save one of you if you wanted to use it. And so, it's yours. And she hands it to you.
You're sure?
Is it mithril armor?
You're sure about that? And I'll kind of open it up.
Yeah, I'm not going to use it, and I mean, honestly, I've got plenty of mementos of him anyway, and this one's just kind of gathering dust. It seems like it should be used as a practical in a practical sense for adventurers like you. You unwrap the object, and it's a beautiful shield. with a variation of the Hardale army sigil on it. It's not like normally issued shields. Apparently, her husband was like an officer, and it has an eye symbol on the front of it, kind of worked into the motif.
Like the cave?
And she said,
Like
huh?
like the one we saw in the cave, or like a more human eye?
No, like a human eye with like some kind of stylized eyelashes on it. You know, it just looks like a nice thing. And the eye itself is
Temple of Elemental Evil.
holographic a little bit. Like it looks like it's kind of a magical symbol on the shield. And she said, "Yeah, this is his magic shield. If you don't have a use for it, then feel free to give it to Tor. Maybe somebody in the Valiant Allies can use it. But yeah, it's not saving any lives sitting here on my shelf. So I figured it would.
A good friend of ours is hopefully going to be joining up with us soon. So actually, I think he might have use for a shield.
Everybody, good night.
You don't.
Good.
You don't use a shield, do you, Hargus?
I can use a shield now, but I would rather hand it on to somebody and make the most use of it.
I was thinking Katherine might be interested in.
For now, I'll carry it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give him first option on it, and I'll just sling it for now. It'll do a fine job protecting my heart.
Yeah. Well, appreciate that, Katherine. That's very, very kind. You're going into town to try and find someone to look at Emily's arm, then, huh?
Yes, there's a temple district in Appleshire, and Davis couldn't really figure it out. It seems like we probably need to get it identified by someone with a divine magic background, and so we're going to go see if the waiting list at Appleshire isn't too long for him to for somebody to take a look at and see whether it's dangerous or whatever. But seems to be okay, right, Emily? And she's like, yeah, it doesn't hurt. And she just kind of swings the vine around, and Catherine's like, whoa, careful, remember what happened yesterday. Almost broke a couple things yesterday.
She sucked us a lot of all the chickens.
I gotta say, Emily, I really hope that you manage to hang on to that, because I think it would be super cool to have like a vine whip arm. You know.
She's like, can I keep it if there's nothing, if it's not dangerous, can I keep it, Mom? I kind of like it.
Jasper's nodding.
Well, I did follow you home.
You should have seen me. I helped fight with them, and Catherine's like,
super cool.
I don't know, dear.
Katherine.
We'll see.
Vine arm. And
Emily's just like, please, Mom, come on. All Davis ever taught me was magic tricks, but I could I don't know, this could be good if like a bad guy tries to get me or something. She's like, we'll talk about it. We'll see. I still don't. It just looks so unnatural, but we'll see. I'll definitely give it some thought, because it could be useful, but again, we'll just see what the priests say.
Emily,
we'll go from
I know we're just coming through winter here, but if you get into springtime and that little vine sprouts a flower and some sort of fruit or seed comes out of it, you give me a call, and we're going to see if I can get myself a vine arm. Maybe we could all have vine arms if
I'm good.
Because
Katherine and Emily laugh, and Emily's like, "Oh, I hope it grows flowers. That would be so cool." And she like looks at her arm.
Fingers crossed.
She's just like, "Yeah."
What are you? If you need me to,
I'm just thinking if
as much involvement as I want.
Plant a little seed. Each of us could plant a seed in our arm, and then we could all.
Yeah. That's a great idea, lad. It's a great idea. Don't you do it? Don't you do it? You keep it away from me.
We'll see. Obviously, Here's to hoping that it's a friendly vine and everything goes how we would want it to. But of course, that is the end goal. That's the ideal.
And again, I got to give you credit. The parachutes didn't break my neck,
Right.
so
Right.
that's enough.
Actually,
Yeah,
good
so
thing you mentioned
you
it.
are on the plus side.
I've got to repack those for you. Those are single use. So once
They still
yeah.
tickle me. I don't know why, but
Yeah, well,
it just offends me.
mostly spider silk actually. That's the reason they're so light. I don't know if you've ever worked with spider silk before, but they're quite light. You can pack it down real small. It takes forever to make into a fabric, but
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, pretty great once you do.
That Lego minefield behind you, man.
Caltrops.
I don't think he's talking to us.
But all right. Well, great. I'm glad she's getting that looked at. Hargus, are you telling me you wouldn't want a vine arm if that were an option? Because
Yeah, I know. No, lad. I'll just be honest with you. It's not on the top of my list of things.
think of the tree swinging capabilities a vine arm would offer.
Oh, I'm thinking of all the possibilities. And I think I'm good. I'm good.
Flowers come spring.
Thank you.
You'd smell delight.
Now, if some horrible curse came upon me and I ended up with a vine arm, I would learn to live with it. But it's something to be avoided. Call it my upbringing. I just feel like that's not for me. I couldn't take it home to mother, you know.
I do have that ritual circle that the hag had put down in the basement. I did copy as much as I could of that down also, so that might be potential.
You're not selling it. You're not selling it for me. This is gonna go over like crickets, I tell you.
We'll see. I might try it out on a cricket first and see how the cricket fares, and
That's what I want crawling in my bedclothes. Creaky little vine cricket. Cthulhu cricket.
All right.
Catherine, as you guys are talking about this, and she's like, well, we better get ready to go. It'll probably take most of the day to get there. Y'all packed, Emily? And she's like, yeah. She's like, all right. Yeah, we better get going. The cart's leaving in about a half hour, so we want to make sure that we're all good to go. We're probably going to stay the night in Appleshire and then back in the morning. So will you guys be here much longer? Or?
Probably not much longer, no. But maybe leaving tomorrow, Argus, probably.
Once we feel like we're recovered, we probably leave tomorrow. I'm thinking. We'll have to take a consensus with the rest of the party.
Well, in case we don't see you tomorrow, if we're still in Appleshire, thank you so much again. We're in your debt. Emily owes you her life, yeah, please feel free to visit whenever you like.
Please send a letter if you can to us in Hardale. Just let us know what the clerics say.
Oh yes, definitely. I was going to tell Tor, and I'll make sure to let them let you guys know as well.
Thank you.
Oh, there's some goat kidding back there.
Lots of little animals around town. Emily, I expect a flower from you come spring.
Okay, if it grows flowers, I'll give you the first one.
Sounds good. All right. All right. Ready to go?
What? Are we just going to make the rounds of all of our failed investigations?
Is there someone else you wanted to talk to?
What was the wizard's name? Not really. I mean, I don't know. Hargus, in character, I don't know. There's something about most of the people we talk to here that I just put me off. This town puts me off.
You just want to rest up until nighttime? You still want to case out Siloqui around the ruins tonight? Is that still something you're interested in doing?
I think that would be a bit of fun, maybe. If not, it would be a good rest under the stars, which I don't mind at all.
Let's go.
And there's plenty of Highland we could watch her unobserved and probably have a good view and be in concealment and still enjoy the night.
Well, I think I could probably manage a midday nap until dark comes. So you want to head out there now and find a good spot and set up and maybe nap until she shows up.
Let's do this
Right.
thing.
Actually, you might want to buy
Yes.
yourself a bedroll first. I think I think you do need a new bedroll.
Oh yeah,
Got kind
yeah.
of tattered.
I have to do a little shopping. I have quite a bit of gold still, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere I have that list.
Yeah, I mean, a new bedroll and patches for your backpack or something wouldn't be too much. So you could probably just
Yeah. I'll probably replace that stuff.
Yeah, so we'll say, let's see here. If you're replacing your stuff, you can buy a.
I think I'll just get a new backpack for now, and the essentials like bedroll and stuff.
So you could buy an explorer's pack if you wanted, and that comes with a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, a tinderbox, some torches, some rations, and a water skin, and some rope. And so, yeah, if you wanted to buy that, it would only cost you 10 gold pieces.
I'll go ahead and buy that for now. What I did, I had like an old school standard backpack list, and I just bought that whole thing. What we have a poo mishap.
He's gonna throw up or something. Is he okay?
Those rice puff things that dissolves in your mouth, and you start gagging in through my hand.
That's what happened. I told him not to do that. No, he gagged. He's not ready for those.
Okay.
He's fine.
You're fine.
Anyway, yeah, 10 gold pieces will buy you an explorer's pack.
Good deal.
And
If I'll list those stuff
yeah,
later.
Jasper will buy replacement mess kit too because he traded his mess kit for a bag of fuzzballs, magical fuzzballs.
I'm glad you said that.
So he's gonna get a new mess kit.
Kit costs
Probably pretty cheap.
two
All right,
silver.
I can swing it.
I need some wine skins.
Wine or water skins?
Wine skins, full.
If you want to buy wine, you can probably buy some cheap wine at the inn. They don't have anything too fancy here in Morn Blossom, but you could buy a pitcher of common wine for 2 silver. Fill up some skins with it. That's all they have here. The
Do
good
you have
stuff.
anything stronger?
You know,
Do they practice distilling here?
they've got ale. Every village has their ale wives and stuff. But as far as wine goes, not too much right now in a small village like this. So.
Honeybee, there's those that say it's a bee taking a piss, but I believe it's some of the best nectar in the world. Gotta work on the accent.
Maybe we could work on some distilling back at the Valiant Allies, Hargus. I don't know if you want to work on your own special brew or something. Start working.
I do know some lore about distilleries.
They do have some brewer's tools there, supplies, because Lamont is a brewer, so he could set you up.
So something to think about.
I'm not ready to settle that far yet.
Okay. So we'll go back to the forest.
All right, so you guys shop a little bit, just kind of the general store. They've just got some essentials and stuff. And what else do you want to do? You guys want to just go out and, did you say, just kind of camp out at the Druins?
Yeah, we'll find a little spot off to the side so we can watch.
Nice concealed area. We will improve it a little so we're a little better concealed so we can get a little more comfortable.
Okay. So are you going to
can
spy on
describe that to you,
Siloqui
right?
or
That's the plan.
okay. So I assume that you're not like lighting a
Right.
fire or
Yep.
anything.
Casual
Yep.
spying.
Okay. It is really cold. It's winter, and so it'll be pretty
Yep.
cold. But
Bundle up.
yeah, if you guys
I
are
have some
willing to
questions about that.
take that
What's that?
risk. Okay.
How do you get camping lore and all that stuff in this game? There's no specific skills. In the old game, I would just pile up my skills as I develop my character, and I would have camping mastery and all that stuff. But how do you do that in this game?
I mean, it kind of varies on the DM. There's some guidelines in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Basically, like for extreme weather conditions, like extreme cold or extreme heat, unless you have proper clothing or magic items that help you resist those extreme temperatures, you have to make Constitution saving throws to avoid getting exhaustion. But the survival skill is pretty useful when it comes to camping. Like you can forage for food, that sort of thing.
You, do you gain points to buy those skills, or what do you do? Like I
Um,
saw where I could change my skills every time I go up in level. I can pick a new skill. But is it accumulative or is it?
no, it's not cumulative. In
You know
fifth
what I mean?
edition, you're either proficient or you're not, or you have expertise. And so proficient means you add your proficiency bonus. And then if you're not, it's just you add whatever skill is, whatever ability score is related to that and stuff. So yeah, whenever you get an ability score increase, you can change one skill that you're
Proficient.
proficient in. And as a bard, you can change what skill you're an expert in, which is a new rule from Tasha's. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's basically the only way that that works with skills. Is you're either proficient or you're not.
Could you?
So you get a +3 bonus or +6 if you're expert. So.
Well, I'm a kind of a jack of all trades anyway, so
Yeah, you get to add.
it's not. I guess it's pretty much the same
Yeah, you
thing.
get to add half your
So-
proficiency to things that you're not proficient in, which is
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's the other form is jack of all trades. Yep.
Well,
you
let me
could
just-
add like a
yeah.
+1 or something, even if you're not
So, yeah, but,
proficient,
like-
which is cool.
Well, let me just add this is my personal knowledge, but it's also it would be knowledge that he would have. I know how to build a concealed fire. I know how to build a quick lean-to, and if it's cold out, I would have bought enough stuff to take care of us. Can I do that?
Yeah, it's still gonna be pretty cold if you don't light a fire. Like if you're trying to be stealthy and stuff. So yeah, like there's still a chance that you might kind of suffer from cold weather unless you light a fire. But yeah, you can like bundle up in blankets and stuff and make it a little bit easier for yourself. So
Do you want to do this?
yeah.
I mean, we can build a lean-to that would be easily concealable. I mean, if we want to do all that stuff,
I think
do you want to do
I
that?
think I'm okay just sitting against with my back to a tree and sitting on a good pile of sticks and leaves to get my butt off the snow. That's pretty much all you really need to do. Just sit on a big stack of sticks.
There's a word that the seafaring adventurers use. I believe it's called sculling, and it's a word that takes in a whole series of. There's actually a word for that sort of word. It describes an action. The holding still so you don't touch the cold inner layer of your clothing. It's a word. It's like sculling.
That'd be pretty funny. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I've
Norwegian,
done that.
actually.
Aaron has
We've all
Aaron
done
has
that.
done that.
Shiver while not touching your
Yeah.
outer clothing.
Yeah.
Cold
I
clothing.
figure, a lot of time spent in the forest, and he's got the Outlander background, so he's kind of experienced in camping and stuff. He's had a big hike down from the mountains, so he'll just sit there bundled up in his warm jacket with his ghillie cloak on the outside, flipped up to keep his disguised as possible amongst the shrubbery. And yeah, he'll just sort of settle in on himself and stack some branches and stuff around the outside too to cut any wind. But that's about it. It's pretty improvised. Nothing permanent or anything like that.
No, we could pile up brush.
Okay.
And stems with some brush on top. It'd be a great windbreak and hold in our heat.
Yeah, keep it simple.
So, I heard from.
Okay. So go ahead and make a survival check, Hargus. If you want to help him, Jasper, then it's with advantage to make just kind of a lean-to that's warm enough for you.
Well, I rolled a 13.
Roll with advantage.
What would advantage be? A D6?
Just roll again and take the higher.
Oh,
yeah, roll
sweet.
again, and if it's higher, because Jasper's helping you out. He knows a thing or two.
20. I'll take a 20.
Okay.
Well, I rolled a 19
right.
plus my 1. So.
Okay, so whoever sits in that, that's high enough that whoever sits in that lean-to will not have to worry about the cold weather. So, and then as you guys are just sitting there, kind of trying to be quiet and everything, both of you make stealth checks. You see a lantern kind of coming through the trees, and you assume it's Siloqui, so make a stealth check.
6 altogether.
What was it altogether?
Well, wait a minute. I think I actually have better. No, 7 with my bonus.
14 total.
Okay. 14. Okay. Okay. So the lantern kind of comes through the trees. It's kind of snowing lightly right now. You see the flakes kind of shining through her lantern and everything. And yeah, you see Siloqui walk up. She's not really bundled up in a lot of cold weather gear, but she seems fine. She's got kind of like a fur cloak around her and everything. Very, very stylish fur cloak that looks really good on her. And she kind of goes up to the ruins, doesn't seem to notice you, kind of sets up a lantern on the ruins, on the stones and stuff, and sets up her backpack or whatever. And you see the lantern kind of turn off, and then some kind of walking around noise, and then the lantern turns back on. And you kind of just see her sit down and just kind of by the light of the lantern, just kind of making some notes and stuff, looking up. The sky is mostly overcast, but every once in a while you get a glimpse of the moon, and it's a half moon right now. And nothing seems to be happening with the ruins or anything. And she's just kind of looking around, kind of waiting for something to happen. Every once in a while she turns the lantern off and is like looking at the rocks to see if any sign is happening, but nothing seems to be happening.
See anything? Can you see that? Nope. Oh,
Yeah.
Let's try.
Is that the lean-to?
I lean to.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, that's basically what she's doing.
Oh, we lost him again.
I am in suspense.
It looks like
Yes.
she's just, checking out the ruins.
Anything in particular? And I'm back.
Hey.
Stupid keeps
Yeah.
cutting out.
That's
Luckily, it's not as often as it
That's not
used to
so
be.
bad so far.
Hopefully, yeah.
I just think that she was evasive about this ritual circle and the what am I trying to say, and what it was used for.
Right.
It seems like she's more ambitious than intrigued to
I
me.
suppose we'll find out if she,
I think she was more.
yeah, if she contacts us in the future with information. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I'm just really wondering if anything will happen with the moon.
Yeah. Well, it's worth waiting to see.
I wonder if Mankotha has any insight here.
Wait for a crow to land on you.
Got the chicken bone.
Ask the chicken bone. Hold the chicken bone up to your ear. Do you hear a crow caw? Hello?
You hold it up.
Hello? Sorry, morning. The Gotha. Over?
This is Bankotha. How's it?
Breaker.
Breaker. Bankotha, come on. So yeah, you guys just kind of watch her. How long are you gonna stay out? So you guys are sleeping the night there? Or?
I think are we gonna wait for her to go back first and then go back ourselves, or?
As long as their comfort level's good, I'm fine staying here under the stars. Once we decide she's done, I'll decide whether I'm either going to camp out here and look at the stars myself. There's no better, and we've had time to talk, and I'm sure Hargus is going to share his feelings about camping out. There's no better way to sleep than under the stars in cold weather with nothing but your nose sleeping out of a warm blanket.
I actually don't even. I just pull my cap down, so it's really all that's left anyway. So most nights, that's how I prefer it. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, nothing sticking out. Boogers can get you over the edge of the bed. Because then you're safe.
She stays at the ruins till midnight. Turns the lantern off one more time, and you kind of hear a sigh. And then the lantern turns back on. She packs up her stuff and starts heading back to town.
Looks like there's nothing to see under this moon. As a wise man once said, this moon has told us all that it can, I think. But I think she'll be checking back here nightly for quite some time. So, yeah, hopefully she'll send us back anything she finds out.
What's the cycle of the moon right now?
It is a half moon.
Everybody knows
a waning half moon.
So we're going to have to wait a bit for it to come back around for a full. But, yeah. Hey, maybe she...
Do I have any lore about the moon cycles? Never mind. That's ambiguous.
Not specifically.
Pretty yeah. And I'm still pulling from old bard stuff sometimes. So
you know many songs about the moon, and both romantic and
bad moons, blue moons.
Yeah, there's quite a few songs about the moon.
There's an old gnomish song about the moon. It's very romantic, it's like, when the moon hits your eye like a big cricket pie, you're in love.
Yeah,
that sort of a thing.
Oh yeah, I've heard a similar one. I don't think they called it a cricket pie, but it was there.
What else would young lovers eat under a moon?
Goat cheese, of course.
I guess different.
A nice goat.
Different traditions, I suppose.
One told me goat cheese. It smells like goat jollies. But it tastes delicious. I'm sure you'd say the same thing about crickets.
Well, they do. They are quite.
Each his own.
When we get back to Hardale,
it's all a textural thing. It's all textural.
They're nice and crunchy. I don't see what's not to like. They're crispy and delicious.
If we were talking chips and cookies, yeah. Biscuits,
chips,
crickets, nay.
Cookies, crickets. The 3 C's. It's the
nay, lad, nay. I will toast you with crisp, and you with your cricket, but I will not. Never the two shall wane. Or that's not the right word, but it's the one that came out. So.
We'll see. One of these days, Hargus. One of these days, you're gonna have a cricket, and you're gonna agree.
We shall not cross the streams.
And I suppose we'll start moseying back, unless we're comfortable enough here. If we're comfortable under the lean-to, I'm fine with another night in the open air.
Yeah, Hargus and you have cobbled together a really warm lean-to. There's enough leaves here still since it's early winter and everything that you kind of piled them up on the side and makes a good wind barrier. And with your new home, homemade or locally made bedroll and everything, Hargus. You guys are warm enough to where you can sleep here without an issue. You're nice and toasty.
Hargus, there's old scouting and old soldier wisdom that pervades all cultures, I think. Normally, it would be polite for me to ask if you prefer big spoon or little spoon, but under the conditions, I think it would be just silly for you to be the little spoon here. I just don't even see how that would work. So I think we just have to go with what nature demands. And
I like the spooning.
right, so
let's start back to back, and then nature will take its course with the spooning. Keep your feet warm, Rod. You'll be okay.
Right. Well, I'll see you come the dawn.
I can build a concealed fire. It's really easy, and Hargus is a fount of trivial information.
Yeah. No, that's
well. I mean, now that Siloqui's gone, I mean,
do you want to?
If you
want to have a fire for the rest of the night, or yeah?
Yeah, it just starts with digging a hole. And what you do is you dig a hole and you go under. How do I explain it? You actually dig two holes. You connect it underneath, and then you build your fire in the bottom. And
the vent.
I'm going to try and change my network and see if that's the problem. I keep cutting out. Yeah, so I'll just try and switch.
We'll wait here.
To that.
Well, I certainly don't mind the fire. I guess that'll keep our feet a little bit warmer than otherwise. Normally, when I was traveling alone, I didn't want to deal with a fire just because I was trying to stay off the map, so to speak. Try and keep to myself.
If you have good ventilation and a nice tight lean-to, even a candle will keep you toasty.
Very true. Very true.
But you got to make sure you have some sort of vent, or you don't wake up from that.
Do you ever play Stones, Hargus? You ever play
Stones?
Yeah, games?
I might have played Stones. How do you play Stones?
I'll just roll out a board, little checkerboard pattern. He'll hold out his two hands. All right, your choice. I brought the board, so you get to choose.
Tap to the right.
Right? This one?
I'll take that one. That right.
All right, that's white, so yeah.
You're right.
Got white, so first move is yours.
I go. Excellent.
Play some stones.
All right, let's roll.
Yeah. So intelligence, intelligence check.
Yeah, intelligence check.
Oh no! I've lost already.
Oh gosh! I think you're okay, buddy.
Oh, I don't know. I might have done pretty good that time. I rolled an 18.
Yeah.
So at best, it's probably a 19 for my any modifier I have.
I rolled a 2, so you win.
I probably should stop there.
What did it say? This chess?
I said stones, generic stones. I was thinking some kind of strategic stone placement where you try and gain territory by placing one stone at a time.
I was thinking
something like that.
Okay, depending on how long a game is, you could make kind of a 3 roll. But if it's like simple games,
you want to do 2 out of 3 or go with your crushing victory?
I'll go 2 out of 3.
Okay, so
right.
so Hargus the good lead.
Strong open.
Jasper.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that.
You make
You
your
should
usual
not have
move,
said
Jasper,
that.
when you're normally playing
Yeah.
this, but it
Oh,
turns out to be
strong.
exactly the wrong move
Yeah.
against Hargus. So he gets a good lead, but
19.
we'll see what happens
19.
next. Oh,
19.
19.
Making up for my
Yeah.
ones earlier when I needed them.
I also got a 19. So round
Oh.
2.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So in the
That
second
means we got to play
half
2
of
more
the
games.
game, guys, it's kind of Jasper kind of catches up a little bit, and you guys get to kind of a point where you don't really lose or gain. So
But
you'll have to
you're
go
maintaining that early lead.
Hold a moment.
Arr.
I've drank at least half a cup of wine, half of my
Your flask.
wineskin, so I'm going to start taking one off.
Okay.
Well, I rolled an 8
I rolled an
that
8.
time, so
I rolled an 8. It's an 8.
All right.
excellent.
You guys just keep dancing your pieces all over the
Take
place,
this
and
one.
neither
Oh my
of you make progress.
Oh my gosh.
It's turning out to be a long game.
Really starting to sweat it here.
Oh,
Last roll.
things have
Go
changed.
again.
I rolled an 18
Natural
again.
20.
Oh, man.
Okay.
This was actually pretty engaging game.
Just really.
The
We're going to
Jasper
have to start cussing here in a minute.
There's a lot of beard tugging.
So it turns out, Jasper was just stalling the whole time. Stalling and wasting, because then he realized what your strategy was. He gained back all of his territory, and so
I rolled 318.
it's anyone's game now. But whoever gets the last few pieces wins.
All right, the final gambit.
You ready?
The final gambit.
Drop.
Yep.
Oh,
Intelligence check.
I rolled a
19
5.
again. 19.
Okay, so
Alrighty.
Jasper makes a comeback and wins the game.
Now you're just abusing me.
Boy, that was well played, Hargus. That was well done.
Don't patronize me.
Oh, really? I played a lot of stones with the captain of the guard I mentioned to you, who found me. He was well regarded as a player, and he preferred the kind of slow open technique, and then kind of sweep around in sort of a horn pincher maneuver that worked towards the end there. But I was afraid it wasn't going to work. You really had.
I feel as a bard, I should have mastery of gambling.
Well, this
games.
isn't a gambling game. This is all strategery.
Oh, okay. Well, I
It's
feel
all
better
about
now.
the noggin. Wow, that was good. That was good. All right. Well, well played, sir. Good game.
All right.
I guess sleep till morning then, huh?
I think I might pluck on my harp a little bit now that we're not trying to be sneaky, and we'll go ahead and get that little bit. Although I know we're healed up, I'm sure we're still suffering to some extent from our recouping to some extent from our journey to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and play some and aid our recovery.
Yeah.
And
All right.
restore,
Yeah,
so-
it definitely helps your bardic music ease you. It makes you guys feel warmer. Like it takes the edge off of the remaining cold exposed skin on your face and everything that's not in the blanket, and it feels really
Everything.
nice. And you guys drift off to sleep and have a really good night's sleep despite the cold. You get rested.
We'll
The
blanket.
next thing, the sun is peeking through the trees, and kind of shining with like shafts of sunlight onto the ruin. Looks really, really beautiful and everything. Still really cold and everything. You can see your breath and everything. But we had a good night's sleep.
I have one more point of observation before we leave. As we're cleaning up our stuff and rolling up our bedrolls and stuff, if we're at a good advantage to see the whole area, I'm gonna relay this to Jasper. Let's just take a minute and look at the whole ruins as long as we're standing over the top of it, and see if we see anything different like looking at the Go board
Right.
last night made me think of this. Maybe we'll get some inspiration from the overall
Top-down view
view
in the daylight, and
instead of standing in the middle
yeah.
of it.
All right, yeah. That's that outer ring there.
Pattern
That
of the
is sort of the
trees,
curved,
layer of
sort of a
rock.
curved area towards the west there. And that like, sort of curved portion
Yes.
is to the west, and then it sort of heads off that way. The whole.
Is there any indication of violence, like in the ruins, like something may have came down with a big hand and smashed it, or pattern
No,
that we didn't see?
it looks it just looks like wear and tear kind of ground down over the many years. No violence whatsoever, just neglect. It just looks like these were left behind a long time ago.
Just the slow march of time, it looks like.
Well, it was a good
It was,
question.
it was. Shall we go collect our rogue and be on our way?
We'll do this.
Yes, we'll start walking back to town.
All right. Let's go back to town. The village informed you that Branbrek actually has already left. He went back to Hardale. He did everything he needed to do here. Said that he would meet his back. That's just going to some like he's not used to like the common inn, like he wanted a little bit more comfort. Right. And so that's kind of what you piece from what he told them. They don't seem to get that, but you're like, based on what they're like, oh, he said he just needed to be close to home or whatever. Oh yeah, just needed a little more luxury. He's used to the life. Right. So he already went back to Hardale. It seemed like he didn't really want to spend another night in this coda.
All right, well, he's an impatient little fella, isn't he? Look at him just scampering off on his own all the time.
Seems like he's chasing his own death most of the
like
time.
Every place we go, he's got to run ahead first, no matter what's going on. It's run into the trees, run into the mansion.
I think it makes him happy, so,
I'm just saying. One of these days he's going to run too fast and not be able to dodge his way out of it. That's just going to...
He is a bit of a damsel in distress most of the time. But he seems happy about it.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's like a murdered damsel.
All right, well, I guess we'll be on our way. We came down here. How did we get down here? Did we take your wagon? I don't recall. Did we take your wagon or did we leave you?
You guys
I did bring my wagon.
You guys took his goat wagon, and the goat's been being taken care of by the villagers in the stables and stuff. And,
all right. Well, shall we be on our way?
Free goat milk. We will. Didn't they say something about having some Highland goats up here? That's a larger breed of goat.
The dwarven.
The dwarves do in Valkstad. They use them as mounts. Big goats that the dwarves use as mounts, and they can use them to jump up the mountain and everything.
So if we ever make our way over to Valkstad, maybe we could get you some great large dire goats that are available up there.
Yay! I'll get some dire goats and start carrying a hammer and cursing a lot.
So you're just adding...
Being in my
adding a hammer to the normal situation then.
Hey, so you guys get Hargus's goat cart, and you head off to head back off to Hardale.
To Appleshire.
And
Emily's going to Emily said she was going to Appleshire. That's where.
Yes.
Oh. That other forest gnome that I met said she was going with her troop to Appleshire.
I'm easy. We could go there and just send a message to Branbrek.
suppose we could. I mean, we've got some time.
Well, we did all that bonding and spooning last night. I have more than fine with going wherever you want to go.
That. You were quite the gentleman. I appreciate it.
And I appreciate the warm feet.
I have very warm feet. It's actually a little-known fact about gnomes. Our feet are always quite warm.
We're just adding to the lore all the time here, aren't we?
You know, it makes sense. Our feet are much closer to our heart than you poor humans are.
Yeah.
So, really, just a general warmth pervades us in all of our extremities.
Now, halfling feet with their hair and everything.
Those things are legendary. You don't even need a campfire, I've heard. You just gather around the halfling's feet and toast marshmallows, and
they don't even need shoes. So
roasting. It's an old gnomish winter song, you know. Crickets roasting.
Hey, but you get one of the lady gnomes who shaves the tops of their feet. That hair's so coarse it'll wake you up in the night.
I would always heard it was quite soft.
Except when you shave it regular. Then it gets thick and coarse.
You just don't want to start down that path. Yeah.
If you rub it around your feet and you think a shark could swim by you. Don't ask me where I know that. It came out.
Hargus is a well-traveled man.
Land sharks, laddie. Land sharks.
Well,
those are most likely lads to be delivering cricket pizza.
Do we know what the relative distance would be? I have that Appleshire is 2 days east. I assume that's 2 days east of Hardale. Would it make sense to go to Hardale and then try and go check that out, or would it make more sense to go straight there if we wanted to go to Appleshire?
Appleshire is just kind of on the road to Volkstad.
Okay.
Volkstad.
So it wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah, it's just kind of ends.
It wouldn't be crazy to go to Hardale first and then hook east on the main road to get to Appleshire then.
Yeah, did I say it was 2 days?
That's what I got for Appleshire, is 2 days east.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's halfway between Hardale and Volkstad.
Volkstad. I could play some Volbeat on the way to Volkstad.
Sure.
That's some pacing music.
Get your blood up, I would imagine.
So yeah, you could maybe make it to Appleshire in a day and a half if you left from here, or you could go to Hardale first.
All right.
So, yeah. Kind of up to you.
What do you think, Hargus? You wanna go to Hardale first and collect on our contract, or who has that contract? Do you? Which one of us does? You've got.
I have. That would be Branbrek as the contract. I'm a reluctant member just because I want to stay with the party.
I'm not sure if there was like an actual like paper contract or whatever.
Because we had something that the mayor
they've a copy
signed off on, right?
Yeah. Oh, mayor. Yeah, he would send
he's just
like
a
like I don't know, kind of just like a letter of I don't know, like his stamp of approval.
Gotcha.
On the
so he's just sending that ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And so.
All right. Well.
You really need a trio of drums to really play some good Volbeat.
I could try. I don't have much experience with instruments, but I could smack.
Yeah, we get time.
Well, so what do you think? Do you want to bypass? Do you want to bypass going to Hardale, or do you want to swing by Hardale first and then make your way out? It sounds like we could.
I have some restocking I need to do, but I'm more than willing to go straight there. That way we could actually, even if we don't catch up with them, we'll be close enough to provide some modicum of
Save us some.
security
Yeah.
for the girl
Yeah,
and her mother.
let's try and meet up with them before they go, if they haven't left yet. I mean, imagine we got up pretty early
Onward.
with the cold weather, so.
Yeah,
Um,
and the drinking. It's its own alarm.
Okay,
Nature's alarm clock.
So you guys going
yeah, we'll try and.
to Apple?
Well, we were gonna try and meet up with Emily and Katherine before they go, and if they want to ride on the cart, they can maybe save themselves a little bit of cash too, I guess.
Okay. So yeah, you guys travel to Appleshire over the next day and a half or so, just staying in an inn on the way, and eventually make it to Appleshire. It's a nice medium-sized town. Lots of apple orchards here. They've already been picked clean during the harvest season and everything. But as you kind of settled in the town, everywhere has like hot apple cider, the best cider that you've ever had. This place is really known for their really good apple dishes and stuff, and they're making use of it as still kind of celebrating, I guess, with the new year and everything. There is just kind of a temple district that has some temples to several of the gods. There's a temple to Treefather. There's a temple to the Sea Mother and the Dawn Father, and Amberaldus, the god of order, who is patron god of Hardale. Like kind of all the towns around here have a shrine to Amberaldus. Actually, no check really needed. Did you just kind of want to check in with Katherine and me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll check in with them if they're easy to find at one of the temples. I guess.
Okay.
I don't know if she said which temple she was going to.
Yeah, I'll say it's not too hard to ask around. They're just like, oh yeah, girl with the vine in her arm. Like pretty easy to kind of narrow that down. They're just like, oh yeah, she's
Make a nice living in a freak show.
They're just like, yeah, she's staying at Dragon Harden, and you kind of go over there and find them. They're just by then it's probably dinner time by the time you get there and stuff, and they're just eating dinner. They're just like, oh hey, and wave you over to their table, and they're just like, oh, I didn't realize you were coming here. I thought you would have gone to Hardale first. So yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Did you get taken a look at?
Yes, we went to a couple of places. The father priest didn't know too much about this. He said it was some kind of a curse. That's all we knew about. However, it was a druid at the Temple of the Treefather who actually identified it. It makes sense, the association with nature and everything. He says it's a curse, meaning that he can't remove the vines from arm as some sort of, until the curse is broken. However, she does have that sort of control over the vines as long as the vines are in her arm. They said nothing bad going to happen. The curse itself of transforming her into some sort of vine monster. I can't remember what they said exactly about that. Broken, so that's good news.
Swamp thing. Yeah.
And Emily kind of types up and she's like, so that we can keep. And Catherine's like, well, yeah, for now. We don't really have the money to break the curse now, and honestly, there's no problem.
And if it ain't broke,
And Emily's like, yay! Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if anything would happen, then I'm sure we'll look into removing it. But for now, yeah, why not? Go ahead and keep that, Emily. And Emily's like, yeah, just kind of waves it around and stuff.
Jasper's very excited for her and very
she's like,
supportive and yeah,
yeah,
Just a freak lover, aren't
enthusiastically
you?
hoping for his own
yeah,
vine
and
arm one day.
yeah. And she's like, I can't wait spring. I can't wait to see if those flowers.
So cool. That'd be so cool. Well, that's
Of course, then she hits puberty and she turns into some sort of Cthulhu show and, you know, devours this village.
What's that got to do? What's that got to do with the vine arm?
Oh, I don't know. Nothing, lad. Just a story I remember from an old bard. And the old ones.
How Hargus? Did you hear her say that there was a druid at the Temple of the Treefather? I was going to go there anyway because I don't see those very often.
I did. And I'm interested in talking to him, and I'm interested in any library they may have or in this area.
Have
specifically, well,
we can
tell you later.
We can look for a library. I mean, they got a lot of temples here. They might have some holy texts and stuff they'd be willing to share with you as well.
I would love to talk to druids, and any research is always good.
Have you heard any word about the brown minstrels coming through? They're a performing troupe.
Catherine's like, I heard something about them. Somebody talking about how they passed through here for year's end. Yeah, must have been a big show.
Did we miss them?
We must have just did, but yeah, I can't remember who said it. You asked the bartender or something, but somebody said it was I don't know, a couple of days ago. I don't know exactly, but yeah, something like that. Why?
We saw them before in Hardale, and there's a friend traveling with them that I was hoping to talk with, but I don't know, maybe we could try and catch up with them further down the road. I know they're heading to where was it? Let me check here. Cloudcaster. They're heading to Cloudcaster next. So
Cloudcaster. Haven't heard of that place.
Should be further east. I imagine it's between here and Valkstad. All right, well. Hey, I'm excited that your vine isn't going to be giving you any trouble, hopefully. That's very encouraging. Really looking forward to it. Are you guys...
Yeah, we're both relieved.
Are you going to be staying in town?
So I guess this must be her kind of distinguishing characteristic. Yes, we're going to stay one more night, and then we're going to kind of have a long trip tomorrow and see if we can make it home in one day. It's going to be a long journey, but yeah. On con won't be too. So
great.
Yeah.
Hargus, what time is it of day? Is it still relatively?
It's probably about 6 o'clock.
Might be a bit late.
Dinner time, yeah.
I say we find the finest inn my remaining money can afford, and I will attempt to play for my lodgings, and at least play for some spirits, and we can explore this city tomorrow.
All right.
How big is this city compared to the two major cities we've been in? It's more of a town. Sounds fairly large.
It's a town, definitely not as big as Hardale. Hardale being a big city. But this one's a town. It's got a tiny little keep for whoever the reigning lord is under. The kind of vassal Hardale who lives, who kind of reigns over this town and everything. And it's got a, it's not as small a village as Blossom. It's not as big as Hardale. It's in the middle, just kind of a middle class city sort of thing. And the the lower class people live out in the apple orchards that kind of surround town itself. Yeah. a decent-sized city, town. You could have, you could find more stuff around here if you needed it.
Well, tonight I'm going in quest for a good inn that is looking for somebody to entertain. And tomorrow, because I'm here with Jasper, I am going to research forest gnome lore and possibly go to the, what are they called? Can't get it out right now.
Check the other temples. Right.
Druid. Check the Druid. Maybe I want to go to the Druid temple first, and then, like you say, I'd like to talk to all the temples. Just see what they have. Look for libraries. So you never know. There's some old books sitting around that somebody's neglected that we might be what we're looking for.
Absolutely.
Well, that's fine. Oh, I know. And I need to refill this, my flask.
Top off your flask.
Okay.
The hard stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely find this place is a decent tavern. It's clean. They've got pretty drinks and stuff, but see if there's anything better.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were breaking up really bad on my end.
Oh, okay. So this is a pretty nice town. Do you want to see if there's anything here in town?
A nice tavern for Hargus would be one that's hopping, that's got a festive air or whatever, or a good crowd. It's not necessarily the nicest, but it's probably on the upper scale of middle, and the place where everybody wants to be.
Yeah, this one's pretty lively. It's up to you. Like, you're here now, and it's pretty lively. You look around and see there are ovens. It's a sizable where there's probably several parts around here. But yeah, it's not bad.
Well,
and you feel like you could probably do better than the entertainment that's playing right now. Like, they're okay, but I could probably go up there and show them a thing or two. So,
well, I don't want to run anybody out of the job. I will travel around till I find some place where I could benefit them. Well, a little entertainment would help them sell some cups.
Okay. What about you guys?
If not, I'll kick somebody out.
If he's going making the rounds, I'll tag along and just keep him company as we walk and kind of check out the town.
Okay. You just kind of wander around a little bit. You see a much lower class tavern called the Jolly Yak, and it seems to be just kind of for locals, or just done with the work day, just go to drink and gossip and go home, that sort of thing. Definitely not a very fun place. The Dragonheart Inn, where you guys just were, seems to be the main travelers inn. However, you find a place called Lumber Tavern, and it's loud. Like, you can hear like raucous laughter booming from inside, and it sounds like a pretty crazy place.
Jasper?
Kind of on eastern town.
I'm going to win in.
Jasper will peek his head in.
Okay, you go
and take a look inside. Try and gauge the room. Just looking around.
Okay, you start going to the door, and a dwarf looks like a bounce or something is right next. Just like, hold it there. No humans or no non-dwarves allowed. This is a dwarf tavern.
Well, I'll send dwarf. Well, do you have anybody that can play a dwarvish song like this? And I'll pull out the harp and start playing something harsh on the harp, and I'll sing in dwarvish.
You know dwarvish?
Oh, I think I do. Let me see.
Remember your list.
Yeah, I do know dwarvish. Yes.
Okay, make a persuasion check.
10, but I get, so it'd be like 14.
14.
Yeah. Persuasion?
He's like
No, it'd be like 12, sorry.
12.
Well, you got to have
Let's see.
+4 with your charisma alone. Are you?
No, 13. 13. My charisma's 18, so I have a +4, so it'd be, for some reason, I have a 3. I can't explain it why now.
Are you proficient in persuasion? That might just be your
Yes.
proficiency.
Yes, no, I have it marked.
Proficient.
It is. So,
Okay, so that would be like
Yeah.
a +7, I
Yeah.
think, because charisma
Yeah.
plus the 3 are
Yeah.
17.
no, hold on. I'm proficient in, I have deception and performance as my
But not persuasion.
proficiencies. Persuasion, I have a +3, and I think that's because of my charisma and I don't know
Well,
why
your
else.
charisma's 4, so it would be at least
Well, then
+4.
half proficiency, so
Okay.
+5,
So-
so 15 total.
And usually bards have quite a few things they're proficient in, so we'll say it's about 17. He seems really impressed with your harp pick, and he's like, well, you seem to speak dwarf with your tongue pretty well, but do you speak the other kind of dwarf? And he kind of rubs his fingers together.
Well, I don't think I speak that kind of dwarf if I'm singing for a short bed for a beardless dwarf.
Jasper takes a step back.
Okay, he's just like, get out of here.
I'm gonna move on.
Your music's not worth that. He's shorter than you, for sure, but he was kind of imposing. He's just kind of like,
I know, but you can't be intimidated, Letty. You can't be intimidated, Letty.
And
Jasper's
yeah,
like,
seems
I
like
can.
the Dreamheart in.
All right, it was just friendly banter.
Sounds like the Dragonheart Inn is your best bet.
Yeah, I'll go back there and I'm gonna hit the guy up. I'm gonna have my harp out and I'll flourish a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So he after he finishes your song, you start to go up, and he's like, "See, where are you from? I haven't seen you from around here.
Oh,
We got a new musician here. Who's this new guy?" Everybody's just like, "Oh, hey, face off, music, battle of the bands, battle of the bands." And he's just like, "All right,
I'm gonna see.
hey,
I'm gonna see if we can't.
see how good you are."
Dueling harps.
Are you talking about the bard that's in there? I'm gonna see if we can't collaborate a little.
Seems like he's kind of a local favorite or whatever. He's kind of, emceeing himself, just kind of like, "Oh, it looks like we have another," that sort of thing. He's like, let's see how good you are, traveler. He pulls out a shawm and starts kind of playing a lively on it, and everybody looks at you, expecting.
Oh, hold on. I'm check my
Pulls out the
instruments
shawm
here.
and starts going.
I'm thinking. Well, I'm sorry. I'm holding things up. I'm wondering if they have a lute. It doesn't matter. I have the harp. I got the harp out, and it's the short harp, so it's pretty loud. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the
Dragon
sleeves.
tats.
Everybody's
Show
like,
the dragons.
"Whoa," everybody's getting excited to see this match.
And I'm gonna start
Go
slapping
ahead
the
and
harp.
go ahead and make a performance check.
All right. Oh, I rolled a 3, but like you say, performance I have an 8. So was that 11?
11. Okay. You play some riffs on the harp, not quite as good as him, but pretty close. Like a few people in the crowd are pretty interested. And so you do your part. He's just like, not bad, but and then he plays on his shawm some more. Ooh, he rolled a nickel 20. He starts playing like he's the best player you've ever seen. He starts playing, and the whole crowd just starts clapping, and they're just like Derek, Derek, Derek.
Nope.
And he kind of bows you a little bit, kind of like beat that. And
I rolled a
go ahead and roll
7 plus 8. 7 plus 8.
Okay. All right, it's pretty good. But
obviously,
yeah, Derek's still the winner. But he commends you as like a good sport. He's just like together now, and you guys playing together, and it's pretty good rendition. Everybody's clapping and everything. And he's just like, "What's your name? What's your name, performer?"
Hargus from the mountains.
Let's hit for Hargus from the mountains. Good harpan out there, Hargus, and everybody's claps, and he's just like, "Why don't you get a around me?" So that was some good playing. I'm gonna take a break right now, but if you want to play everybody, it's fine with me. But next round for you is me, Hargus. Good playing there.
I'm gonna hit up the guy and see if he minds if I accompany him. In other words, just play in with him.
Okay, he's taking
but
a break.
I'll go ahead and play right now.
Some time to play, but he comes back late and play together, and you make a pretty good team.
So while he's getting a break, I'll go and play because I'm fresh. And then, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, no, he's really good. You guys do pretty well together. He's a really nice guy. Really kind of welcoming to you and to Jasper and just all the other travelers and everything, and kind of does a thing later on where he's just like, everybody from Volkstad, let's hear you cheer. And a couple of dwarves who seem to want like a tighter night aren't at Bob's Tavern, and they're just like, yeah, and just like everybody from Hardale, everybody traveling from like who's traveling from the farthest town, and kind of gets everybody. He knows how to get everybody excited about songs and everything, and takes a couple of requests, and he notices you.
A bit of Volkstad in my life.
Hey, you there? What favorite new song? See if I know. And if Hargus knows,
have you got the Tinker's Tale?
Oh, the Tinker's Tale. Everybody knows the Tinker's Tale. Do you know the Tinker's Tale, Hargus?
What language would you like to hear it in?
Gnomish, of course.
Well,
the one I don't know.
My Gnomish is pretty rusty in speech, but I'll do my best for the words of this song.
You can do
well.
Go ahead with the common version. It's fine. It's fine.
I'll accompany.
You don't know the target.
We need the audience to be able to sing along with the chorus. So let's do it the common version.
Okay, he he kind of guides everybody through the chorus, and it's just like tells the words for the chorus, read after me, sort of thing, and launches into playing the Tinker's Tale. He does, he can tell that he doesn't know the meaning of the word, the gnome, but he's
pacing's all
the sound and stuff. He's pretty good, He's sung it a lot, that sort of thing. But then on the call, everybody jumping and con, and it's pretty fun. You have a great time here. It seems like they're used to travelers passing through here in Appleshire, and they just really like to make people, have a good stay, and they seem to get a lot of income from
the Tinker's
passing through. And you guys
Tinker's Tale, of course.
Because I'm just accompanying, I'm going to switch between instruments as whatever is appropriate to what he's singing to make the song better.
He kind of has some backup players too that just play percussion to just sort of accompany everything, just kind of add a little bit of depth to the songs and stuff. And they're really good too. And they work together with you pretty well as well.
I was saying the Tinker's Tale, of course, being the epic tale of the most famous gnomish tinker who went from town to town and there'd be someone there who couldn't love, so he'd tinker and fix their heart, and then he'd go to the next town, and there's someone there who couldn't talk, so he'd tinker and fix their voice, and everywhere he goes doing.
That's a pretty good
Yeah,
story
and
right there. I was thinking of the classic
that's
Tinker
the chorus
song.
the chorus is Tinker could fix anything, and from
Probably made stone
Hardale, from Hardale's, from Koppenheim in the mountains to Hardale's sunny shore, the Tinker.
The Tinker had his magic hammer, and
sounds like a
and so after everyone sings the chorus, everyone they all sing the chorus part, that like short rhyming part in the middle, and then they all lift up their mugs and take a utensil and go, and the Tinker's magic hammer, and then tink 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 tink, and they all slam their utensils on their steins, and then it goes down for the next part of the song, and the minstrels go, and then the audience picks up.
Some people clap, the kids clap if they have that or whatever, and it just is a really cool, just boom, 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 boom right before the next verse, and it's great. It's really fun. You hadn't heard like good a performance of the Tinkerbell for quite some time, and was perfectly gnomish, but like it was a good attempt, and
it was spirited.
Really nice.
The most important part of the Tinker's Tale is that it be done with good spirit, and that was achieved.
Yeah, exactly. As all gnomes know, gnomes aren't. They're just happy to enjoy life and share that with her. So it's fun to see everybody participating and stuff. And a couple people afterwards, when you're about to order a room and go to bed and stuff, like a couple people stop by you and they're just, hey, I had never heard a song before, and where from? And you talk about Oppenheim a little bit and stuff. And there's a couple other gnomes who are passing through there who are you don't know them or anything, but they're just like, hey, good to hear that. I had heard that for a long time.
That was a fun one.
Didn't think that he'd known it. That was awesome. So glad that you suggested it. And stuff.
Well, it's great seeing you. You're going back home anytime soon, or are you bound for some other place?
We're just sending a shipment of scrap, basically taking it back to Koppenheim. You can make use of anything, so you'd be amazed at what the people around here tend to throw away. So many useful things, especially in like the smiths and stuff. Like some of the they were just gonna just put back down, but we can make use of all this kind of rivets and all sorts of wire and stuff. So you'd be surprised.
I tell you,
so quite a product.
It's not that I think they're just so their brains are so far away from their heart. It's just they don't think about the simple stuff.
I know it's and some of the tall ones, I just don't get how they even stand up for long. I mean, that Hargus fellow is pretty tall. I think.
Actually, surprisingly decent stones player as well. I wouldn't have thought it of him, but yeah, no, he really. Very.
Wow. How does the blood get all the way up? Forget his heart. How does it get all the way up to his head?
He was laying down at the time, so that was probably something to it. That probably helped. Right.
That'd do it.
Anyway.
They're just kind of like,
pleasure.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Head off. That was. Yeah, you guys have a good. It's nice to be in the bigger town and stuff. It was nice to kind of go on the quaint little Morn Blossom and stuff, but there wasn't any entertainment there at all. There's just a few people in the one tavern they had in town and stuff. And it was nice to.
Well, and we were on the job.
Celebrate, and that was kind of a part of your. Yeah, it was a part of recovery that you didn't realize you needed. It was nice, kind of spell some gloom of the Shadowfell with some just good partying and stuff at this tavern.
Jasper will pack it in, not staying up too late, but go up to their room and kind of set up his hammock, and then feed Bruce and just kind of maybe try and get him, training by like throwing some crickets into the air and seeing if Bruce will grab them out of the air and trying to call them back to him and stuff. Just trying to get some simple.
Okay. Make an animal handling check.
With
See how well
advantage because
he
of crickets. Oh, hey, actually not bad. 16 on the die, but I don't know. I probably have a... Nope, straight 16.
Also, you, Hargus, were able to pay for your dinner and your bed, so they paid for it and thing for the entertainment. If you share a room with Jasper, he'll get it for free as well.
16.
What was the total, Jasper?
Whoa.
16. Okay. Yeah, he's made some progress. He's turned out kind of a nice little beast pet friend. So as long as it's at night, he sleeps during the day.
Get it, Bruce.
But yeah, but it's night. He's all agitated, ready to get.
Yeah, and let him fly around a bit, stretch his wings. He's recovered enough now, from his injuries from the fight, so he's all healed up and good to go.
He has. And with another like poultice and stuff, you kind of have him heal and cover, and he's new. He enjoys being around.
All right.
So you guys take a rest at the tavern. Feel much more rested. It was nice sleeping outside the night before, but it's a lot warmer and less drafty inside. So yeah, it turned out to be a good tavern. You guys stay. And the next day, what do you guys want to do?
You want to go straight for the Treefather Temple first? That's obviously the one I'm most interested in.
I'll go with you. I was planning on visiting as many as I could anyway. So I'll go ahead and go there and ask if I can peruse their library and discuss a little lore.
Okay. There's the Temple of the Treefather, Sea Mother, Dawnfire, and Amberaldus, the God of Order. Which do you want to go to first? Treefather. The Treefather's temple is actually not in the temple district itself. It's just a little bit outside the city walls, kind of closer to the orchards. Most Treefather aren't. They try to build them not enclosed by city walls, and this particular one is there's sort of a grove of trees circling the temple itself, and the temple is made of just like a beautiful wood, and you see the Treefather's whole symbol is basically just a tree emblazoned on it, and you see a bunch of human people in green robes just walking around at the trees, and the trees in this grove still have leaves on them. The rest of them are pretty much gone, or have a few dead leaves on them and everything now that winter's come. But these ones still have leaves on them. Are mostly kind of orange and brown leaves, but they seem to be clinging onto the trees, even though they're dead and everything. It seems like winter comes a little later. These trees bless the Treefather, and you see people just enjoying nature, just kind of wandering around, and you see some animals around here as well, just little squirrels and birds in the trees and everything, and it just seems to be like a little circle of nicer weather than it is normal for everywhere around it.
Jasper will pull out one of the little seeds that he's got, one of the pine seeds, from the high mountains, and find a spot there and just poke a little hole and put it in there. The traditional leaving of seed offering for coming to a new temple.
Okay. Yeah. One of the priest notices you doing that and just kind of nods to you and smiles, and can recognize a faithful.
Is he a human, or is he
one of the faithful to the three?
What's he?
Yeah, mostly humans around here. you see a dwarf or two, a hill dwarf, mostly hill dwarves, and all of them are wandering to still in the pretty common human territory.
After he finishes burying the seed, he'll say a quick prayer for good growth, and then go see if he can talk to that priest who had nodded at him and acknowledged him. Just, kind of whisper quietly.
Yeah, you walk up to him and he just says, I haven't seen him before. You seem to know your rituals of the Treefather. And she smiles from you. Hello. Where do you hail from?
Copenhagen. Just down from there relatively recently. Haven't spent too much time on the road. It's nice to see a temple to the Treefather far from home.
Yes, Appleshire is a haven for many gods. We find it a good sanctuary for travelers along the road to worship whichever god they most desire, and that's the believes anyway. And we're happy to have this a fully staffed and funded temple here. It's a blessing for sure.
We had actually helped out a mother and her daughter back at their hometown, Emily and Katherine. They came through here looking for a little bit of assistance. They told us that they spoke with a druid here.
Not those names. What did they?
She was the little girl with the vine in her arm.
Oh yes. I remember. Yes, they were talking to Malbank, I think. He's probably up. He probably went into the hills to meditate early. He should be in the afternoon. If you wish to talk to him. Friends of yours? These?
Yes. We
child,
were able to help them. Help Emily out of kind of nasty situation. She was actually kidnapped, so we were able to.
Oh. See. Yes. Well.
Sorry, the druid's name I didn't quite.
Good to know.
What was his name?
Druid Malbank is his name. He's one of the druids who just sort of lives around here. He sometimes stays in town, sometimes stays in the hills. He might speak if you have it.
Are you a cleric of the Treefather then yourself, or a druid as well, or?
A cleric, no, but just an acolyte. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I haven't worked here long. I hope to gain favor from the Treefather and become a priest here someday, maybe. But yeah.
Is there?
Do you have any place
Always
of research?
People pass on research. What types of what sort of thing are you hoping to learn?
Oh, I'm a bard, as you can see, and I'm always looking for ways to expand my knowledge and understanding of the world and the gods so that I can put them into song.
He's quite good, actually.
Well, I...
thank you.
You're
quite good at go. Stones.
I'd be happy to...
and eating bug.
To tell you anything you'd like to know about the Treefather. We don't have any we don't have a library or anything of stuff. We have us would be happy to inform you any answers that you seek.
I'm really looking for ancient tomes and forgotten lore. I mean, so many things have been written down and forgotten in this young world we live in that I'm always intrigued by what I find. I'm surprised y'all don't have some sort of written lore. I mean,
Treefather's not
how else
really
can we
big
preserve
on,
the past and the
you know,
future?
books and such. We don't really. I mean, I don't want to speak for all followers of the Treefather, but we're not big on.
The paper's got to
No,
come from somewhere.
no, you're right.
Whoa.
Oral tradition is a big part of the Tree Father's lore. We believe that passing down knowledge by mouth is going to last much longer than any book, and so the tradition, the whisperings of the leaves of the trees, these sorts of things are what last and what truly favor the Father. So
I do.
yes, I'm sorry we don't have
Being
a
a bardic.
library, but like I said, if there's anything you'd like to know, I'm sure I'd be able to help you out.
Well, I'm here with my friend Jasper, who does have questions that you could probably help him with. But I'm really looking for more ancient lore and old languages and the like, old secrets. And most unwritten lore is the living word of a living people, and I'm looking for dead words of dead people. So
Let's see. Oh,
that may be a little too poetic, but I think I'm getting my point across.
yes. Well, in as living of a city as this, it's hard to know what might be forgotten. But, I wish you luck, Hard. I imagine out there from
At
civilization,
any rate, I'm here.
there's probably something out there, and Tree Father willing, you might be able to find it and bring light to dark places.
At any rate, I'm here to serve the gods. Would you mind if I played my harp a little and meditated on this place before we head out, and you and Jasper could visit?
Oh, please. Yes, please grace this grove with peaceful music. That is definitely appropriate and welcome. And so make yourself up.
And that's what I do. I just pick me a place and I start reciting the leaf in the wind and, all that stuff. I could go on, but I want to
as you play your music, some of the it seems like the wind in the trees and like the birds tend to like kind of synchronize with your music a little bit, and just seems like this is a really peaceful place where nature is definitely in harmony with everything around it, and music tends to reflect that in a very pleasing way to the.
Yeah. If you want to know Hardus's thoughts, he's reflecting and everything's reconfirmed in the circle of life and his experiences with the gods so far. So, it just reconfirms what he's already thought. So anyway,
I did have some old text that I was hoping to get a druid's help with, just because I've been told it's written in druidic. So I don't know if there's other druids around that might be available to help with that, or if this fellow, and I'm sorry, I just keep not quite catching his name.
Malbank. Good Malbank. Yes, Malbank. He, I'm sure he'd be one to ask about that. There are a couple of druids who pass through every once in a while. He's the one who lives closest, I think. But druids don't much like to live in civilization, so they tend to have meetings in the.
And you think he'll be back?
But
he'll be back this evening, you think?
Yes, I think so. He just got back from spending several days out in the forest and the hills and everything, and so I'm sure he'll be back later today. He usually doesn't spend. He goes out to the hills for a few days and then he spends some time closer here. But once he gets back from meditating this afternoon, I'm sure you'll be able to catch him.
Are you very familiar with the other temples in town? Do you know if any of them would have any archives that my friend could look through?
You're welcome to try. I spend most of my time here, and don't know much about them, but they would be definitely more likely to have what your friend's seeking.
All right. Well, appreciate that.
Unless your friend is looking for, information about the Treefather or looking to decode omens of nature, that sort of thing is most people come here for, or for, or learning what nature or the animal, plants, nature, that we can mostly help with.
Well, that's much appreciated, yes. And I think we'll probably return later this evening then, and hopefully speak with Malbank at that time. But appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right. May the green grow around you.
Flowers follow your path.
Yeah, no.
And I'll go back and talk with Hargus.
Just the muse that never ends, isn't it?
So what?
It's the muse that never ends, isn't it?
So do you want to try and check out some of the other temples? It sounds like this druid we're looking for won't be back here until a little bit later today. I don't know if you want to swing by the other temples. Maybe they have some archives that you could look into.
I do. Yes. Well, the day's young. Let's see what we can fit in.
I'll accompany him.
And I thought I might actually spend some gold and restock my
I thought
backpack.
You just bought a new backpack.
I bought a backpack with a few things in it, but I had quite a bit to replace.
What else do you need?
Okay. Yeah, what else do you want to...
I had blank paper, my bullseye lantern. I had, various lighting utensils and, what am I trying to say? Food stuff, iron rations, iron spikes, rope, mallet, things like that. Collapsible 10-foot pole. I did not have the pole.
It's pretty awesome.
But I did have rope and all that.
Did you see mine? It's really cool.
Okay. We'll say with another 3 gold you can easily find that stuff, kind of replace all the things you lost, Hargus. So
how much gold?
3.
3 gold? Okay.
Yeah.
Very fair. Oh, and I was gonna upgrade my wineskins and see if I couldn't find a stronger spirit for my holdout.
Yeah, if you want fine wine, then it's 10 gold pieces a bottle.
Do you want mead or do you want brandy?
So I'm not sure if you...
I would rather have mead.
You're in a town full of apples. There's got to be some apple brandy around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah,
if I can find brandy, I'll go with brandy. But then again, when there's apples, there's mead.
Yeah, so you could buy a bottle of fine Appleshire brandy for 10 gold pieces, and it's really good stuff. So it's their signature thing that export. So,
well, I will spend that money and do that, but we'll do that later. Right now, we're on a quest for. I'll go ahead and write it down, but we're on a quest for knowledge.
Hit the temples
right
by
now.
way of the liquor store.
Yeah,
that
sure.
should be fine.
That's right. That's the only way to experience religion.
Swing through the liquor store on the way to the next temple. No big deal.
Gotta have something to pour on the ground for those left behind.
Not at 10 gold a bottle, you don't.
No, that's why the wineskin's out. Unless the gods are actually watching, I tend to use just the cheap wine. And I've got a bunch of it I want to get rid of right now.
I'm sure there's some good dime store philosophy about the gods not wanting good wine to go to waste. So
that's right. A sensible god would think the same.
Waste not, want not kind of a thing, All right, which one do you want to go to first? Do
Yeah.
you want to go to the God of Order, or
What's this one?
what were the other two? It was the God of Order and
The Druids were
the
out
Druids
there.
coming back to the
I would have thought they would have been with the Allfather.
Dawnfather.
I mean the
Jasper.
Treefather.
Jasper, make a charisma religion check.
Religion? Okay.
Yeah, normally religion is intelligence, but make
Okay,
one with
okay,
charisma
okay, let's just
instead.
do a
So
Both of us are just
if you're not proficient in
yeah,
religion, just
okay.
be
So I'll just
charisma,
sorry. 18 total. Yes, sir.
18. As you kind of say some prayers near the temple of the Father, you feel the Treefather. You feel his presence a little bit closer, and you gain a boon from him because of piety. As a bonus action, you can evoke his protection and get a +1 bonus to your AC for 1 minute.
Was that both of us or
And,
just Jasper?
It's just Jasper. Yeah, he's
That's cool.
he's
I'm
been
not being greedy. I just
no. You were kind of close to your piety to Bankotha was increasing a little bit because you're.
and I'm fine with that. That's why I included that circle of life thing when I mentioned the meditation.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
At least
But Jasper has been like actively, living by the Treefather's, tenets and like actively, taking care of nature, like showing mercy to the bat and like enough that you have his benefits. So you can do that from now on as long as you're in the Treefather's favor. You can do that once per long.
Wow.
It's called Treefather's protection.
Whoa.
Sweet.
Once per long rest. That's awesome.
Look at you.
1
Yeah.
minute.
So a +1 bonus to AC for 1 minute.
Well, the Treefather obviously looked down on Jasper and and those last few combats and saw him getting his butt handed to him left and right. And
I think you did a fine job.
I mean, you've driven to get rid of unnatural things, and you've taught knowledge in that good circle stuff. So I'd say you have enough idea to get
Jasper. I guess he has this knowledge kind of seep into him, as he's sitting there, like gets the sense that he could almost do a bark skin kind of spell, once a day and toughen his hide like a tree, and is pretty floored because although he has believed this his whole life, he's never had such like direct intervention that he's been aware
Just
of.
a witty little knot now.
It's a very spiritual experience where it's like during your meditation there after the acolyte kind of left you alone to do this and stuff. You feel him very close and you just feel like you're doing his work. You're striving to keep nature alive and treating it with respect.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
That's cool.
That's
super
this
cool.
Boon has descended upon you now.
Jasper was quite happy about that. He kind of just walk out on his tippy toes a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit taller. So you're a gnome.
That'll be a lot of fun. Well, unfortunately, this next leg of the journey was mostly Hargus's search for info here. See if they had any archives along. So I suppose we could fast track. I think, what was it? One was the Temple of Order.
Yeah, we could.
One was the Dawnfather, and the other was the Temple of Order. I didn't catch that guy's name.
Amberaldus.
Okay.
Amberaldus or Amberaldus.
And he's the god of order, huh?
He's the god of order and justice.
Justice. He definitely sounds like the sort of fella that might keep.
I mean,
keep some books on hand. So.
And he's like the patron god of Hardale, and so very very popular. Lots of statues of him, that sort of thing. So, and there's also a god of the dwarven patron god, Jord, the god of Earth. Forgot to mention him. There would definitely be a temp him since it's between Hardale and.
I feel like that fella might.
Jord.
What was that?
Jord.
Anyway, I feel like that fella might require some very dwarf-specific errands before we're allowed admittance into those archives. So we might be chipping at the wrong rock, trying to get into that particular temple. But Amberaldus seems like the way to go. But so because I think Amberaldus is gonna yield the best results, let's just it's back. That's all right.
Sorry, guys.
I was getting some info on the local temples here. There's one to the Dawnfather, and there's one to Amberaldus, which is the god of order and justice. He's the one that you see all over Hardale, actually. So I feel like order and justice.
How do you say that again?
Amberaldus. He's the patron god of Hardale. Like, most people worship him like their primary. Lots of statues of him in Hardale, and this temple is the biggest in this town, next to the god of Earth, Jord. That is big too, probably to make it, equally not marketable, equally I guess respectful to the two towns, the two capitals that this town is lying between. So
I feel like
I
feel like if anyone's going to have well-kept books, it'll be the clerics of Amberaldus. That's probably like a whole tenet of their training and upbringing is thou shalt complete thine books at the end of each quarterly year. So that I may prosper, that sort of thing,
There's an important question that we probably should be asking if we don't know it is, what is the nature of their worship?
Amberaldus?
The practices.
I think they cut little squares of paper and put them neatly in a row. That's what I...
Staple them together. Correlation.
A lot of file-based worship. They just number things from 1 to 100 and then stack them.
Instead of a clergy, they have a clerical. You have to work on that one.
It's easy to find them, though. So we just casually mock the god as we walk towards the temple.
That probably won't end up.
Label makers.
And once we get to the temple, I assume. Once we get to the temple, I assume there's like a ticker tape situation where you got to take a number and get in line. And
as you guys kind of go close to Amberaldus Temple, the thing is definitely very orderly, and it's got very pleasing, aesthetically pleasing geometry. There's these, and symmetry. There's just this very beautiful symmetry in the placement of the different, there's a fountain in front of the temple and some little obelisks kind of surrounding it in a perfect, perfectly around it at different intervals and kind of a hexagon shape, and the tile on the ground kind of outward, kind of like how a map, the compass,
The cardinal points,
the compass rose or whatever, kind of has those. Yeah, it kind how that kind of has those lines coming out from that on the map. It's like that, where the found tiles kind of have lines going out to it, and each of those lines point to like a statue or a razor, and everything just seems perfectly planned out, and it's very pleasing. And as you guys kind of go in, there's a big it's kind of just basic cathedral, very big hall, some seats and stuff, some very geometric mosaic like stained windows, and you see priests with geometric symbols on their roof as well. The holy symbol of Amberaldus is a square with 4 circles inside it, and you see quite a few more people here than in
the grove of the
Treefather's temple stuff. There's people reading, there's people just sort of praying, and some people just sort of like talking to the acolytes. You see acolytes healing people, or like just helping them pray, that kind of thing.
Before Jasper enters the courtyard or the temple grounds itself, he suddenly stops and looks kind of like self-conscious, and like checks the bottom of his boots and like tries to clean off any dirt that's there from the temple of from the grove of the Treefather, and he's like trying to get himself clean, like dusting his pants off, kind of looking himself over, like suddenly feels self-conscious.
Yeah, most people don't normally, temple hall. They don't go from one temple to the other. So you have like
he wipes the dirt off his knees from where he was praying, because he's planted a seed and prayed for a while. He's like,
exactly. Yeah, which at the Treefather thing, like that's like all the acolytes there had green with dirt stains on them. Like they enjoy that sort of connection nature. But here, it's pretty clean. So kind of just,
and then he walks in behind Hargus.
I glance at Jasper, and then I look for the coin box and have 2 coins in my hand, rubbing together to drop in as we pass.
Jasper's like, oh, right. Yeah,
okay.
Jasper will pull out a silver.
Yeah.
Pull out a silver and drop a silver in. And I'll mark that off. Yeah.
That was me too.
Polite. Yeah. Gotta be polite.
Great. Good. And this temple also is kind of near the center of the city as well, and there's an element of city life incorporated into the stages as well. He's just kind of out of cities as well, just kind of civilization. Very different from the Treefather's focus, who is focused in the wild and stuff. In fact, I'd say that you're a little bit uncomfortable here, Jasper, at least in terms of your religion. Believe at least a little uncomfortable, because it does not feel like the type of religious that you feel of being out in nature. This is very constructed and too symmetrical, too much thought brought to it, as opposed to just let nature kind of, as opposed to just building a temple that is practical and then letting nature kind of grow on it and everything.
It's very stuffy.
This is very...
Jasper suddenly feels like he has to whisper everything.
But,
well, I'm going to speak loud in how I explain how music is. You see, music is of nature, and music is of math, which is of order, which is of law. And they all tie each other together, lad.
as
So
as
what is the
everyone in
worry?
the temple does the slow, disapproving head turn towards him, Jasper just kind of pulls his hat down a little bit lower. Just,
I hate religious
you
people.
want them to help you, though. You shouldn't say that so loudly.
Then I'll introduce them to their
No,
god.
we will not be murdering people
No.
in a temple.
Why do you gotta precondition everything? It's not necessarily murder. A good criminal precondition to God sometimes, believe me.
just,
Um, a priest approaches you.
You have to talk to us now. I dropped the coins in the box.
A priest approaches you guys, and he's wearing vestments. He's also wearing kind of some elements of armor over those vestments as well, and has a metal like mace in his belt as well. And he just approaches you, and he's just like, "Is there anything I can help you with? Welcome to the Temple of the Lord of Order."
First off, does he have any coat of arms or emblems on sigils or anything on his armor?
He does have a holy symbol, like an amulet, with like a medallion with the symbol of Amberaldus, the four circles inside the spear.
Oh, okay.
So,
It would have been interesting if it had been an eye like on my shield.
that would have been interesting.
no eye symbol.
Anyway,
But he just says, "Is there anything I can help you with, gentlemen? Welcome to the."
yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, me and my companion have just recently arrived in town, and we were excited by the prospect of exploring all the wonderful temples to our gods here. And we're in search of knowledge and understanding and expanding our remembrance of history. We was wondering if we could gain access to any your library or such an area.
We have a library of scripture. It is only accessible to those of our faith.
Well, thank God. I mean, oh.
Who have become acolytes of this temple, I'm afraid. However, if there's some sort of knowledge that you seek, may look it up for you, or look up the book that it's actually. We can look up materials for you and bring them here to you if it's.
Wow, that sounds really laborious and ungainly for a temple of knowledge.
This is not a.
Perhaps I should talk to a priest instead of a.
If you're looking for a temple of knowledge, then perhaps look elsewhere. We have knowledge of. We have books of knowledge on war and on city design and on other things of worthy nature. But what sort of knowledge are you seeking?
Well, if you're any student of war, then you realize how important history is. And what I'm really looking for is histories and ancient texts, maybe even ancient languages that I could peruse.
Yes, we have the history of the ancient kings, the order of Amberaldus throughout the ages of the many wars that have come to the land, and how Amberaldus taught us about those wars and what we could learn from them. As I said, in books of scripture, we have these accounts. If there's specific you're looking for, I'd be happy to.
Well, we are searching for a haven for the forest gnomes, and I am looking for information on civilization and fallen kingdoms and alike. Nothing specific, because I haven't done enough studying to be specific, if you understand it. Surely, as you say, you're a scholar. Sure, you understand what I'm saying.
He kind of looks confused, like Amberaldus isn't a god of knowledge. Like there are other gods of knowledge and stuff, but he's kind of confused at how you keep talking like a and stuff. However, when you do mention like the history of lost cities and stuff, he's like, there's lore about this that we can find. However, if you are looking for information about the forest gnomes, I suggest you seek the Temple of the Treefather, as he is their patron god. Kind of looks over at Jasper, like probably
Jasper
this,
kind of nodding.
and yeah, he's just like, but yes, if you need information on lost cities, I give you some information. Like I said, it's only accessible to Acolyte Amberaldus, but if what you need is names of lost cities or something simple, I can fetch that information for you. I can look that.
That sounds pretty good.
I would love a list of lost cities or anything you would be willing to copy for me. Is there a fee for copying? Like, I could donate to any acolytes or whoever do the copying or the materials or anything? I would be more than happy to do that.
Depending on how thoroughly you want us to research, a donation is required to this temple. Yes, you want an extensive list of all the cities. I say you probably have to donate about 25 gold pieces.
All
right. Yes.
Do you want them in the box or do you want them in your hand?
The box is fine. Do you pay 25 gold pieces?
Yeah. And I drop them in one at a time as loudly as I can.
Flinches with everyone.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna count them. There's a place of law and order.
He doesn't seem bothered. Yeah, he appreciates your generosity and stuff, and so yeah, go ahead and mark off the 25 gold pieces. He goes to the library. He tells you to wait or whatever, and comes back after about an hour or so with a scroll that's been very intricately immaculate handwriting. He's listed off a list of all the known lost cities in the Hardale kingdom. That's what he could in Wernamar, basically. So this sort of country that you live in. He has a list of about 10 fountain cities.
Well, just to put upon him because. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh, just a list of their names and a like some of what he's known about them. So that's what he can do.
Oh, well, that means I can't put upon him anymore because I was going to ask him. I don't suppose you have any back histories or stories about these places of any lore that may be connected to them. I'm glad to pay another fee for it. 25 gold is more than worth irritating you a little. In my mind.
He's like, for what purpose do you need this lore?
I'm a bard.
Is it curiosity, or do you intend to visit places? I don't know much about.
I may visit them I may have the opportunity to visit them in my travels, but my main interest is wordsmithing. And what better way to build on your art than to gain knowledge and understanding?
I see. Well, I have taken the liberty to give a succinct and clear summary of each of those towns on that scroll. That should give you enough information. Don't have this is a history museum, so that we know those are basically all this is mentioned in this Amar in religious significance in the scriptures. But knowing their names, you may go to Hardale and seek more information about them in the libraries there. They have libraries
Do you have any?
to action subjects, history. We have religious folk here, as it a temple. So,
Do you have any maps connected to these places?
no, that would be something that would be more fun and amusing as well.
Ah, well then. May peace be upon you, and may Arbalallus look down on you with favor. Good day, sir. I'll do my about face.
Jasper's kind of stiffly.
All right, he kind of just gives a little bow. He kind of bows to you and then goes back to his duties, kind of relieved that you're done.
I really wanted to irritate you more, lad, but there's not enough time in the day.
As we exit the temple, Jasper's like waving his arms out to the side. He's just like, I'm so sweaty. Why was I sweating so much? It's just like a rainforest in here.
Probably the tightness of the arses in that place,
sort of
creating heat.
Cumulative pucker factor. I suppose that could be it. Oh, all right.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. That sort of uptightness.
Well, I mean,
definitely
they got you some decent information at least. There's that. Yeah.
I'm quite pleased. I don't feel like I killed two birds with one stone. Raided on their nerve and got a lot of information for a nominal fee, which was well worth money.
Very fair.
So you now have a scroll with a list of 10 forgotten cities on a little bit of information about them.
Yeah.
I've got to say, though, I'm a little disappointed with their definition of law and order. I can't say they do any of those things well with that limited ability to understand their own gods.
What's the limiting factor? What do you mean? Right.
Law and order. They've made it a black and white thing, and it's no such thing.
Right.
As you know, in nature, it's a world full of grays and conditional.
I think that's what the law and order.
And how do you fight a war?
That's what the law and order folk.
You can play well, just like our games of Stones last night. If you want to speak strategy, not even our game of Stones was straightforward black and white. It's a great way to get men killed, but it's a terrible way to find a war.
Yeah, I think
my accent makes me misspeak words all the time. So.
Yeah, I think they kind of enjoy the black and white sort of thing, because if everything's written down right and there's just black and white, then they don't have like uncertainty, right? They can make a decision. Hopefully not too much hypocrisy. Yeah, very true. Oh, there you go. But I guess it helps to have a place for the folks who like to keep all their hedgerows perfectly trimmed. That sort of thing. They have a place. Well, there were some. I do prefer a bit more of a casual setting myself, obviously. Do you have anything else you want to do, or should we just go back to the Treefather and wait for that druid to return?
He's a druid. Okay, I was separating the Treefather from the druids. I don't think he's a... Yes, I would love to talk to the druid. He's not a druid in the sense that I'm seeking at this point.
I mean, until we talk to him, we wouldn't really know.
I would love to know what his lore and knowledge is. So yes, I would love to talk to him. Is there any place else, any other temples here that we need to explore while we're passing our time? You don't have to go with me, Jasper. I understand. You just felt it. But I probably wouldn't have such a negative, inhospitable reaction if it wasn't that.
Are you wanting to go check out the like the Dawnfather and such? I feel like these fellows would probably have the most information, but you know, you could go give them a shot if you wanted. He's more like yeah, Dawnfather's kind of like
Godfather is the temple you guys went to get rid of the worms in here.
they were lovely folk. He just didn't seem much interested in keeping like books of history and such like that. He didn't really talk about that sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing a resource somewhere if we wanted to do some true study.
The libraries.
In other words, we've been waiting
Right.
going to temples.
This is not a huge town. I mean, Hardale's much bigger. Yeah. I feel like with this list, at least that's some starting points for maybe what you're looking for, right? If you go to the library.
Oh, I'm excited. I think maybe eventually we'll stumble across some scholar that may have a greater knowledge and has accumulated some books of his own, tomes of his own.
Between Hardale and Valkstad, that's probably where we want to hit up that sort of stuff, the big cities, you know. But yeah,
I found it
just be a nice place to pass the
gratifying.
time while we wait for that druid to return.
And I've got the wine.
I mean, I think
You think we could pick up some meat along the way? Or some
let's keep our eyes open.
cider?
There's got to be cider.
Or what was it? What do we make out of apple?
Brandy?
I know there's cider, but they make a brandy. Or some brandy. I even like the way that rolls off my
There's
tongue.
one thing I've noticed is where there's fruit, there's brandy. So I'm sure we can find some. Yeah,
And the fruit of the fruit.
it's the nectar. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes open as we make our way back to the grove of the Treefather.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can do some shopping.
Okay. Yeah, you go to the grove of the Treefather, feel a lot more home within nature and everything. And people here just kind of worship how they want. You know, they just they go underneath trees and just kind of relax under them and watch thieves. That's the sort of thing that the Treefather approves of. It's just enjoying nature, like seeing the beauty of it to be a lot more simple, I guess. Eventually a tall man with like a mane of hair, like it's like, you know, kind of long in the back, long all the way around, and just like a beard like that, just kind of reminds you of like a lion's mane, sort of. You know, lots of hair on the neck, that sort of thing, and on the back and arms, frame his face, just very well looking. He see him kind of enter the grove. He's got like piercing eyes that are kind of black, like they're just really, really dark brown, almost black, but they're still really piercing somehow. And he kind of just walks around, kind of goes into he has a little not little, like a sack made of skins, you know, like a big pouch made out of skins, and he brings it into the temple and leaves it in there and comes back out. He's holding just like a staff, and he just kind of looks around, just kind of showing nature well.
Give him a little wave as we approach. Greetings, brother. How are you?
He just nods.
Great. Are you Malvik, the druid? Do you have a vow of silence sort of thing going on? All right, man of few words. I can respect that. I think
he's been flirting with the trees a bit too much.
Unfortunately, I'm a man of many words. Forgive me if I tend to ramble, but I'm a forest gnome. Not sure if you could tell, but had a bit of a strange issue of not knowing where any of my people are, and never having met another forest gnome before. But we came across
This could be 3 gnomes standing on each other's shoulders.
possible.
Is he wearing a robe? Oh, never mind.
He's wearing a big coat of skins, kind of a cloak skins kind of trail behind him. Yeah, no,
No concealing garments.
it's pretty clear that he's not a spec. You can see his like pants and stuff. He's not covered like like
No,
like
no gnomes have that thick of legs.
skins that kind of things behind, but he's wearing like leather pants and stuff, and so yeah, it's definitely
That's
not.
the rock.
Well, yeah, I'll kind of just describe the ruins that we saw down there, the druidic and the gnomish, and just see what he responds at all.
He mostly just nods and stuff. Like ask him any
Yeah, well,
questions
I
or like you tell him all that, and he just kind of nods like he's genuinely interested and spend.
I was
what you're
hoping for some help with the translation on the druidic portion here, just because I was hoping it could lead me to where maybe my parents were from, and just maybe find some of my people that way. I don't know if you know anything about forest gnomes or have met any or could help with that, but it would be...
Did
you help the
you
gnome
hand
out?
him the druidic and stuff? Okay, looks at the druidic, and he just says, I'm afraid only druids are privy to the knowledge of druidic text. I can't share with you the translation of this, but I appreciate you being this to me. Where did you say that it was?
Morn Blossom? Are you familiar with Morn Blossom at all? Yeah, down there, east of the town. I mean, does it pertain at all to the location of the forest gnomes?
You met quite a nice elf lady that was doing research there too, by the way.
Right.
That turned us onto it.
He says, no, I will tell you it does not reveal any information about, but it was written by forest gnomes, I can tell that. But they are the circle of the moon, which is not the circle I'm a member of.
So the forest gnomes were the druids, or are the druids?
Yes. Forest gnome druid, they were circle of the moon, which is a circle that is focused on animals, and there are many different forms in the way animals interact with nature. I am of a different druid circle, and so I do not associate those other circles very often. I do want to, he just kind of looks at the paper again, and he's like, I will tell you this, I will not translate this for you. I do want to see the room for myself, though, so I will see them. Seek out the Circle of the Stars for more information.
I don't know.
Oh, where did this go?
Do you have a lead on where we might... Have you ever heard of the rain med... Well, how does that work? I mean, so you're a druid, and you follow the tree. Is that an order of... I've never any good at... My family's a bunch of artificers. I could never quite get the knack of it. Just couldn't remember all those complicated patterns they did with the arcanes. Never stuck, but... How do you join, like, a druid order? Is that I just had a moment with the Treefather here where I was praying and I felt just like he was right there with me. I don't know if that's do you study like that? It just seems like such a direct link to my forest gnome past that I see a bat move under my jacket. The questions I had. Thanks for help her mother out. You think she'll be all right with the? Yes. Do you think it'll flower in the spring? I mean, do you think there's going to be like a seed situation? No. That's a whole different circle of the moon. All right, well, maybe, kicks the dirt. Kicks the dirt a little and walks away. Puts his hands in his pockets. Treefather, watch over you. Well, I guess that we got to decide what to do. And I do want to hook up with those brown minstrels. They'll be going even farther east, though. Oh, so I'm pretty sure we could catch up with them. Hargus, you're a man of action, and I like that about you. Sounds good to me. Let's go. It's a good idea. It sounds good. All right, let's do it. Tally-ho! Yeah. No, I think he's bound to come back to the guild hall. I think we'll just let him know that we're going to meet the brown minstrels. Anticipate being back in a few days. I mean, hopefully we catch him. We should check where this next town is. I mean, asking around, is this next town just down the road between? It's north. Okay. All right, that should work. So from Appleshire, we're just a day. Yeah, I mean, if we yeah, that was perfect. That's how it should be. Yeah. Well, very worthwhile way to spend his time for Jasper. I'm kind of like, yeah. That would be very interesting for Jasper if he were to go that route. But yeah, now that he's had this, so we'll see how it goes. Definitely don't have enough wisdom. I'd have to go through some ASIs to get my wisdom up high enough. Jasper's not the wisest. I think, yeah, the problem with going the druidic path is I think it involves some quiet time and introspection and stuff like that. I don't think Jasper's very good at those things. It's just a different type of introspection and study, and he's just not great at study. There you go. Yeah, just meditate while snacking. a deep and somber meditation while munching on crickets. No, that was good. That was a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to write up a whole song. I'm gonna have to write up all the lyrics and tune for Tinker's Tale now. Yeah. I was trying to get lyrics going in my head at the time, but I kind of froze up, so I just had to describe them. But exactly, yeah. No, I'm gonna write something up and get it to us so that next time we can actually sing the chorus together. And I was definitely thinking Irish drinking song style. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of. With the addition of mug tapping to simulate the Tinker's Hammer at work. I think I just invented my next PC character that I want to play. This magical Master Tinker who with his magic hammer. Yeah, I gotta check that out. Sure. Yeah. I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking more demigod kind of status, like he's almost like a Hercules or a Thor or a Maui kind of guy. That's funny. Yeah. Oh, did Hargus attune to the shield while we were in all of our travels and stuff? Do we know what that does? Advantage on initiative rolls is really nice. Yeah, that's a perception check. Well, I don't think Yeah, I don't think Bran's gonna use it. Boy, that new stuff with using the bardic inspiration to add to damage. Yeah, it's in your. Yeah, that's really nice too. That's a great level 5 perk. Some fun stuff. Yeah, healing word. I'd have it, but my wife has prohibited me from purchasing anything for myself before Christmas. So, oh, okay, all right, that sounds good. 1970. Yeah, no, it looks great. Yeah, I mean, I still got to sort out everything else we got from that last venture too. Once we get into our downtime, I've got a couple potions I need to figure out. I I've been wondering what we're gonna do with those too. I guess we just I assume we just hang on to them and see if they ever come in useful again. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to sell it. Yeah, the pet. Uh, I think I think Emily's gonna guard herself just fine. She's it's pretty good. We'll see. Jasper's still holding out for a seed one day. Gets mailed a flower with some pollen, some pollen. Um, yeah, that was good. That was a good time. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. No, I don't know. Hard to see Hargus being quiet in that setting. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Your beefcake. Yeah, yeah. Oh, good. Well, thanks again for another great session. No, no worries there. Yeah, I think it's fun to do the dialogue for interesting things like talking to the druid, and other fact-finding things, Don't need to necessarily role play every time Hargus needs a new backpack. Of course, who knows? Maybe we're missing out on valuable RP. If Hargus is buying new backpacks every other adventure, that's one thing I do always kind of gloss over in my stuff too. For the most part, is no, that's not true. No, that's not. I was about to say I gloss over shopping with my players, but I don't. They spent like 45 minutes designing dresses with an eccentric dwarvish tailor that they were just in love with. So never mind. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. For haggling. Yeah. Well, I had my wife, and then one of my other players was another couple too. The girls were going to infiltrate a casino that had a guy that they were looking for, and so they wanted fancy dresses to go make a showing when they got there. The two of them, spent about 45 minutes designing their dresses. At the end of it, after this woman, this dwarvish tailor, going into every single detail of their dresses, down to the minutia. They're like, oh, also our halfling friend, he needs a jacket too, and just reaches over and goes, here you go, and just pulls one off the rack. And they're like, is this gonna fit? He's really short. And she rolls up the sleeves and goes, that'll do. So he's had this big baggy ill-fitting rough canvas cloak or jacket that he's been wearing the whole time, and we always joke about how the sleeves are all rolled up and how it's just a bag, like a burlap coat. Yeah. So yeah, right. Yeah. So good times, good. Awesome. Well, can't wait for next week. It'll be fun to hopefully get Katherine back, since we're not sure what his situation is, but I know. I thought about it, but I'm like, there's just no way that, Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, the updated. No, that's awesome. Yeah. I think that kind of stuff is still up for grabs. So, we haven't firmly established. It's going to be fun to see what you got in store for. Right? Yeah. I'll tell you what's going to be. I mean, I don't want to look past anything, but to think of all the stuff that will be at my disposal when it comes my time to DM again. I'm going to have so much stuff to draw on for the next plot. It's going to be really cool to see. I mean, with everything we've got here, with everything that Dustin's about to do with the next arc, and then still everything that Scott's going to throw at us, I mean, it is going to just be, yeah. I mean, that's all it is. Yeah, it's going to be dun, dun, dun. Yeah. He's stewing on